The Braves and the Dodgers with a trip to the World Series up for grabs. Welcome inside with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. I'm Joe Davis, and it seems like anytime you get this series figured out, these teams have taken their turn saying, not so fast, and they keep pushing it down the road, going the distance. We get a Game 7.
We get a Game 7. The pressure coming into this series was on the Dodgers. It flipped to the Braves and maybe back on the Dodgers. I'll tell you, Game 7s are awesome. It's the one who can slow the heartbeat down that'll have the best chance of success. We got some young pitchers on the mound, but you know who isn't happy about a Game 7? It's usually the managers. It's the toughest game to manage all year.
And you got 7 games in 7 days. Adding to that pitching matchup, you mentioned a couple of young guys. In fact, the first matchup of rookies in a Game 7, Dustin May for the Dodgers, Ian Anderson for the Braves.
Yeah, for the Braves and Ian Anderson, Brian Snitker wants him to go as long as he can. Of course, this young man has seemed to have a slow heartbeat. He hasn't even given up a run, so it's going to be more prototypical for the Braves. For the Dodgers, they have a lot of weapons, they have a lot of choices, and that's going to be the theme for tonight's game. Dave Roberts is going to go to a lot of guys, look for Dustin May to only maybe pitch an inning, 2 tops, and I think for the Dodgers it gets a little complicated unless every one of those guys come out of the pen and are outstanding.
As good as it gets. Game 7 with the Braves looking for their first trip to the World Series since 1999. The Dodgers trying to erase a 3-1 deficit to get back to the Fall Classic. Game 7 is next. We are all set for first pitch from here in Arlington. Game 7 between the Braves and the Dodgers. And we mentioned a very young starting pitching matchup. Ian Anderson, just 22 years old. Last time he pitched in a win-or-go-home game, he was a high school senior. Pitched his team to the state championship game in New York. Dustin May, just a little bit older at 23 years old. And so it is always a pressure-packed game, falling on the shoulders of a couple of youngsters here in Game 7.
Well, definitely this youngster won't have as much pressure on him for a longevity of a outing. He's looking to only probably go an inning, so he'll want to be fine-tuned and lay it on the line, if you will. You see the number on the year, more of a special utility power pitcher. He can pitch for 2 innings or he can start a game.
Ronald Acuna Jr. ready to lead things off for the Braves with his starting lineup. Freeman bats second. He's played like the MVP that he's probably going to be since the calendar flipped to October. Ozuna hits third. It's Darno, Albies, and Swanson through the heart of the lineup with Riley at third, Markakis in left, and the rookie Christian Pache batting ninth and roaming center field. It's the third appearance of this series for Dustin May. On Game 5 on Friday, 2 runs in 2 innings. So it did not go well. Yet here he is 48 hours later starting Game 7. And one of the most aggressive hitters in baseball up there in Acuna takes ball 1 and off we go at 100.
Acuna has been off balance. Hasn't attacked the fastball. The Dodgers give them credit for keeping him off balance.
2-0.
And the one thing that Acuna can still do, even though he hasn't swung the bat great, is when he gets on base, this could be a better matchup for him to steal a base.
Just been a matter of getting on as Acuna has really struggled here in the postseason. 3 balls, no strikes. Brian Snitker, the manager, thinks he's kind of overthinking, over-trying. Which you don't blame a guy 22 years old on a big stage like this. Leading things off against Dustin May and a 4-pitch walk.
I feel like the Braves have a chance to do what the Dodgers have done in this series, have some big first innings. The Dodgers have won 2 games basically in the first inning. So as the visitor team in Game 7, with nerves a little bit on the line, The ideal situation is to jump out front and then give your guy a little cushion, because you got a youngster in Ian Anderson that is just kind of like walking on a cloud this year.
The Dodgers scored 11 runs in the first inning of Game 3. They got all 3 runs yesterday in the first inning. As Freeman stands in, May comes home. There goes Acuna on the first pitch, and just like that, he's in scoring position. Well, there you go. Just a matter of getting on base for the 22-year-old.
Well, and that's what he can do, and that's what the Braves did all year when they were given the opportunity. And May's got one of those longer deliveries. Smith does about as good a job as he can release it. And now one of the best hitters in the game, Freddie Freeman, even though he had this situation earlier in the season, in the series, did not get Acuna over. I would think it would be a little different here.
What a series it's been for Freeman, hitting above 400, 2 home runs. He's driven in 6. 5 consecutive balls to open the outing for Dustin May, whose 1-0 pitch is ball 6 to open the game.
So a lot of people are trying to figure out, what were the Dodgers going to do? Well, on paper, if each guy does what they hoped, we're going to set them up for the best course of action. But the key is the guy who starts the game, in this case, Dustin May, knows he's not going very long.
2-0. 7 consecutive balls to open the game for May. And you're right. I mean, you've got Tony Gonsolin lined up on regular rest. You have Julio Urias, would have been 1 day short. And it's not like Dustin May has been killing it in this series. I mean, he gave up 3 hits. He walked 2 in just 2 innings.
I normally wouldn't say this, but I would give Freddie Freeman the 3-0 green light right here.
See if he gets it.
Ball 4.
Ball 4. Back-to-back 4-pitch walks to open the game from Dustin May. Tom Verducci, a nightmare start for the Dodgers.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea, Joe, of how much thought went into starting Dustin May, he did not find out he was starting this game until 1 o'clock this afternoon. That's when a Dodgers staff member texted him, "You've got the ball." Dustin texted back, "I'm ready." I left out an adjective that was also in there. But the Braves saw 55 pitches from Dustin May 2 days ago. Only 16 of those were sinkers. The Braves, we know, are a great fastball hitting team. The Dodgers encouraged Dustin, despite that, trust your best pitch. That is the hardest two-seamer in the game at 98 miles an hour. Right now, he's trying to find any one of his pitches to get over the plate.
Normally throws the hard stuff more than half of the time. It was just 25% of the pitches that he threw in Game 5. And now he's got to deal with Marcell Ozuna.
Well, Ozuna does struggle against the slider, but you mentioned the 8 straight balls. You still got to trust your slider on the first pitch, I think, here against Ozuna.
Two on, nobody out. First pitch finally finds the zone. On the 9th pitch of the game, he throws his first strike.
And that was the slider. It stayed in the inside part of the plate. But he almost had a free pitch there with a breaking ball due to the fact that, 8 straight balls. Ozuna was going to go up there, I would think, make him throw one.
Led the league in homers, led the league in RBIs. First inning chance here. Grounds the base hit into left field. Acuna heads for the plate, and the Braves waste no time in Game 7. RBI single, Marcell Ozuna.
Well, he jumps on it, and this is going to be actually a closer play, and I thought it was going to be. Give Pollock a lot of credit. He threw the ball right on line, and looked like Acuna kind of jammed his knee right there, sliding into Smith. But that is the recipe the Braves needed. They have basically been really good when they score first. They did lose a game in the series scoring first. Dodgers came back, of course, in Game 5.
It's the only time in the postseason, though, where they've lost a game after scoring first. Offense had kind of gone away in games 5 and 6. They had just 4 runs in those 2 games, but they get one before the first out is recorded here in game 7. The catcher, Travis d'Arnaud. Struck one.
So I know Dustin May's saying all the right things, and I love his attitude about just, 1 o'clock's a little late for a game 7, but he has been under the assumption of, I really don't know, I'm on a need-to-know basis, and I'll be ready. But here's the point that I want to make in a game 7 when you know you're not starting a game in theory. You're just starting it in principle. You're trying to make every pitch be the 9th inning, and you don't have any kind of long sight in view, and that's a difficult position. He could strike out the next 3 guys and everything be fine, but that's a difficult position to be in. And what they were hoping for, I'm sure the Dodgers were hoping for, a clean inning, turn it over to Gonsolin, and then play out their formula from that point on.
Braves have played in 6 game 7s in franchise history. Started 3 of them. Speaking of a place of experience in this spot. d'Arnaud cracks one on the ground to short. Seager to second for 1. Taylor to first, a double play. Up to third goes Freeman, 2 gone.
That's huge. I mean, with a capital H, like so big you can't imagine, to slow the game down, with which could have gotten carried away. There's the double play, classic.
Boy, this would be a victory for Dustin May and the Dodgers if he can limit this to just the 1 run.
Big victory.
Ozzie Albies climbs in. He's having a great series. 360 with a pair of home runs.
The reason it'd be a big victory is the Dodgers know they're going to score. I mean, rarely do they get shut down and shut out. So you know you're going to score. The only thing you want to avoid in a game like this is that crooked inning, which the Braves are really good at giving up. They scored 3 or more runs a bunch of times. So do the Dodgers. Just try to stay away from that crooked number. Keep it to just solo.
Top 2 run scoring teams in baseball this season. Chased one up. It's 1-1. It's just hard to predict with the way this series has gone, right? I mean, we've seen the offenses explode, and then we've seen them go dormant.
It really has been hard to predict, and a lot of things come with the strategy you have before. If you lay it out, and then sometimes you have to read and react. You have to go different than what you think was the formula for success. You have to adjust.
Down the corner, 1-2.
It's so difficult to tell somebody what the feeling is like. Now, granted, it's not 50,000 people in the stands, but it's still, it's game 7. Someone's going to be the hero. Someone's going to be the GOAT. You can't be afraid to make a mistake no matter what position you're playing.
On a 1-2 pitch, check swing on 101. Hardest pitch he's thrown in this first inning. It's 2-2.
And you will find out, interestingly enough, about a player or two in these kind of situations. You'll see some get antsy and really get too aggressive. And then you'll see some that handle the moment as if it were just the first game of the season. That is the beauty of a game 7. Everybody but the managers. A different
no
point
fun
of view.
for them. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Albies swings and misses. Hit an elevated fastball to end the inning. Could have been a whole lot worse for Dustin May. The Braves get 1. Marcell Ozuna with an RBI single to open game 7. To start game 7 of the NLCS. 22-year-old who spent the first month of the season at the alternate site. 3rd overall pick a few years ago. Made his big league debut against the Yankees in late August. And since the postseason has gotten going, how good has he been? 3 starts, no runs over 15 2/3. And now, John, in his 10th career start as a big leaguer, he's got the season and a trip to the World Series on the line.
Yeah, and a tough task facing the Dodgers for the 2nd time, right? Because the Dodgers are so good at making adjustments. Look for them to be, I think, more aggressive on his fastball and don't get too deep into the count with that changeup. He's got a devastating changeup. I also think Ian Anderson may look to throw more curveballs for strikes if there's an ability to have a secondary plan if you see the aggressiveness of the Dodgers.
4 shutout innings in game 2 for Anderson. Mookie Betts fouls off the first pitch. Take a look at the Dodger lineup here for Game 7 with Betts leading it off, and then the red-hot Corey Seager bats second. Turner and Muncy. Will Smith out of the 5 spot with the reigning MVP Bellinger hitting 6th. Pollock, Peterson, and Taylor round things out as Betts takes a strike on a generous outside corner, and it's 0-2. So 5 walks in that start for Ian Anderson in Game 2. The Dodgers swung at a lower percentage of pitches than they had in any game this year. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, the biggest thing the Dodgers do is they can eliminate a pitch out of the strike zone. So the pressure goes back on the pitcher to hit with the secondary stuff. Max Fried did it great in Game 1, had the Dodgers right where he wanted it, and so did this young man. Despite the walks, he was able to have the secondary stuff be efficient.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Betts, whose offensive numbers in this NLCS are not going to jump off of the page. He's hitting just .227, but some key defensive plays, some subtle base running plays. Dodgers may not be alive still if not for his defense in Games 5 and 6.
Totally agree. There's the 2 biggest plays that changed the momentum of where the game was headed. Of course, they were down 2-0, and he made that play that allowed it to not be 3-0. And see, these are the counts. I think in a Game 7, the pitcher who has the easier outs first, like no stress, no hard contact, just easy outs. This would be considered not an easy out. He was 0-2 and now worked to 3-2.
Betts yanks a line drive to left. That'll dip in front of Markakis for a leadoff hit. Thinking 2, will throw on the brakes. Settle with a leadoff single. As Corey Seager comes up, tonight's telecast is sponsored by Ford. Built Ford proud. By Steal a Base, Steal a Taco, only at Taco Bell. And by IBM, let's put smart to work.
So 1 pitch out, you don't need deep pitch. This is what Betts did against them the first time. He worked long counts and then got 2 walks. This time he get a base hit. Both leadoff hitters have gotten on, testing the patience of the opposing pitcher right away.
No hotter hitter in the planet than this man, Corey Seager. 5 home runs and 11 RBIs, both of those NLCS records.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. Totally in control right at the batter's box. Feels like he knows what's coming, and he has shown that whatever's come his way, if you make a mistake, he's making you pay.
Although Ian Anderson had his way with him first time he saw him. Saw him twice, struck him out both times on that changeup. One and one.
He's definitely killing fastballs off of right-handed pitchers. So what the pitchers have to do is try to get the ball in the top part of the strike zone. And then what that'll do is open up that changeup curveball mix. But if you leave a curveball middle or middle part of the plate, you might not get it back. A traditional slider is the pitch that you can get success with. He doesn't have the traditional slider, does Anderson.
Ball. 2-1. When they drafted him, he was pretty much his fastball curveball. That changeup has developed as he's worked his way through the minors. 4 minor league seasons before making the debut in late August this year. Completely different starting rotation for the Braves than they had planned. It's a swing and a miss on Seager, and it's 2-2.
See, normally you didn't want your changeup up there, but he has one of those power changeup. It's a 4-seam changeup. It has the same spin that the fastball does, so they don't really get a good sense that that's not a fastball. And because he's already established the height of that pitch, the hitter's eyes stay in that area and just light up when you see it up, but they don't recognize the change of speed.
And not a huge separation of speed, but still, statistically, the single most effective pitch in baseball this year. Opponents hit .076 against the change.
Yeah, he has great arm action, straight over the top, which is unique. You don't see too many pitchers like that anymore, and that's what gives it the illusion that here comes another fastball. You have to respect his fastball. It gets on you kind of quick.
Here he comes with the 2-2, and Seager fouls it again. That over-the-top delivery you're talking about, that's one of the big things the Braves were attracted to when they drafted him 3rd overall. A lot of teams thought that was a stretch, taking Anderson that high. The Braves getting the last laugh on that. 22-year-old starting Game 7 of the NLCS. Home with a 2-2. Grounded to first that Freeman knocks down, recovers, flips, just in time to get Seager.
Well, that was unlike Freddie right there. I don't know afterwards why he thought he could make it to the bag. Ian Anderson was there. This is a close play. They had a lot of close plays at first. This could have been 2. He knocked it down. He fumbled it. And then at that point, he needed to get the ball out of his hand as quickly as possible. And that is just you could slide a penny underneath how quick that was. And good call. And a runner right away in scoring position.
Dodgers with a chance to tie this game in the 1st inning. And the man that has driven in more runs than any Dodger in postseason history, Justin Turner. Hit his 10th career postseason home run last night. Off speed, strike 1.
That's going to be the key pitch for Ian Anderson tonight. If he can get some free strikes, you call them stress-free, because I don't think a lot of hitters are going to go up there and sit on a curveball. So you get ahead with the curveball, and then you can start mixing and matching the location of your fastball.
How much are you changing your approach and the way you're attacking this lineup, given the fact that you faced him just a few days ago?
Yeah, it's really a cat and mouse feel. Everyone knows that everyone gets to look at the same video, and so who blinks first? And I've always had the mindset, unless you're facing this team a lot, you attack them the same way till they show you they're doing something different. If you try to outsmart them, I think you can get in trouble.
Turner lifts one into center field. Pache with a call. Acuna coming together, and Pache at the last moment makes the catch for out number 2.
The only time that I went completely away from a game plan, I'd faced the Cincinnati Reds a bunch, and in 1995 in a playoff game, I decided to stay away from my slider for 4 or 5 innings and throw all fastballs. And then you can reverse it, right? They're looking for slider, they know it's coming, and it never comes, so you start making them question. Now if they start hitting my fastball all over the place, I got to abort quick. And that's really kind of the rule. If you're established your strength early, impose your will, don't change until a hitter does something to make you change.
Braves 1, Dodgers nothing. Bottom of the 1st inning as Max Muncy comes up with Mookie Betts in scoring position.
See, like this guy right here makes you want to throw secondary pitches first to get off the fastball. He's so good at taking, but if you hit for strikes like that, you have a better chance to get a Max Muncy out with your fastball late up. You're not going to get him out early with the fastball because he's ready to hit. And so you really have to be good. That's what he's done. Credit him. And now you just have to try to out-execute him.
On an 0-1, Muncy fouls off a fastball, and it's 0-2 very quickly.
The hardest part today is identifying the guys that never come off fastball. What I mean by that is they hunt fastball all the time, and you can make them look silly on breaking ball and say now's the time for a fastball. Or vice versa, the guys who can't catch up to a fastball, they foul off, and you go to a slider, and you're doing them a favor because their bat speed catches up. You got to rely a lot on your catcher there for those things to come in game.
Anderson trying to pitch around the leadoff single from Betts, who takes his leadoff second. 0-2. Muncy leaves it very high, ball 1. Well, if the Dodgers find a way to win this Game 7 and erase a 3-1 deficit, Max Muncy, one of the biggest at-bats of the series, back in Game 5, his walk in the 6th inning that brought up Will Smith, who hit the go-ahead home run. That was an incredible plate appearance. It's one of the 15 walks that he's drawn this October. Swings and misses for strike 3. Anderson uses the changeup to strand a man at second, and the Braves lead after 1. Of the NLCS. Man, is he loose and smile more than scowl with this 22-year-old.
That's what you got to do, and even if you don't feel that way, fake it.
Dansby Swanson takes strike 1 from Tony Gonsolin, who was lined up to start this game. 26-year-old rookie started game 2 with Clayton Kershaw scratched. Gave up a career-high 5 runs in that game, but he showed over the first few innings why the Dodgers are so high on him. He was perfect through 3 in that game. It's 1-1 on Swanson.
Let me tell you something. He pitched way better in that line.
Yeah.
I know the reliever gave up a couple of his runs. This guy has got everything you want to be a lockdown starter in the future. His makeup is his own. It's unique to him, and his stuff is pretty good.
That's the 1-1 fly. Swanson lifts a fly ball to left center field. Peterson going back. Dansby Swanson, upper deck home run. And the Braves lead it 2-0.
Hell yeah.
The Braves are a team, and the Dodgers, that have a lot of emotion and play off that emotion. I think the controlled emotion approach today, not expanding or expending as much of that energy, would be key. But that's the point I'm talking about. Each pitcher that comes in now for the Dodgers has to establish his feel early. And what if that feel early, again, gets you to this point? So it's going to cause Dave Roberts to have patience, and each pitcher to come in and try to find their A stuff as fast as possible.
Austin Riley now, no balls, 1 strike. He takes down and away, and it's 1-1. Tony Gonsolin gave up 2 home runs in 46 innings during the regular season. Gave up 1 to Freeman in game 2. And gives up 1 to the leadoff man here in game 7. Is 1-1. Is cracked in the air to left field. Pollock ranging back with plenty of room this time. 1 away.
Well, on this homer, Swanson's game, the game before, he really got locked into the plate. There's that big circle slider. Not a good thing for a pitcher. Much better for a hitter. He completely stays back. He sees the big circle. You don't want to see that if you're a pitcher. And that's a recipe for a ball that usually goes a long way, and that one did.
Braves are the #2 home run hitting team in baseball this season. They hadn't hit one over the last 2 games. It's become kind of a patented celebration.
I guess his knee's fine.
I would say. He got up. Here's Markakis going after the first pitch. It's fouled and strike 1. Markakis, 36 years old, in his 15th major league season. Trying to get to the World Series for the first time. The team that he grew up going to watch games. Woodstock, Georgia. Takes a strike, and it's 0-2.
And a very unique season for him. Opted out, then opted back in. How ironic would it be for a guy who hasn't been to the World Series? He'll go back to that decision and be thankful if the Braves can win.
Longtime Oriole, now in his 6th season with Atlanta. Takes up and away, and it's 1-2. He's had opportunities to go other places. In fact, back-to-back 1-year contracts. But, man, how do you beat playing for your hometown team? Got your family in the area, going to most of the games in a normal year. And now his kids are big Braves fans. They said, "You can't go play for somebody else, Dad." I ain't doing too.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, early in this series, he looks like he's getting better timing, but fastballs were beating him left and right. Velocity had his number. And then right after Buehler came out, a cutter that hadn't been hit off of Trinan forever, he hit for a triple down the line, and sometimes that is what helps you get a little more locked in with the timing. But the velocity was definitely beating Markakis in this series so far.
Came in to score the only Braves run of the game after that triple yesterday. 2-2 is perfectly placed for strike 3 and out number 2. Well, Kenny, a couple questions. Number 1, why couldn't have Tony Gonsolin just started the game if you're the Dodgers? And number 2, what's the plan to get through this?
Well, very interesting questions, Joe. And the idea was to get Dustin May through the top of the Braves lineup and create the possibility that Gonsolin would face that group only once. The Dodgers want Gonsolin to get through about 15 hitters, ideally even more. If he's rolling, they will let him keep going. There is no hard stop here. Now, one other thing. Brusdar Graterol was sore yesterday, so the Dodgers wanted to avoid him in Game 6. We saw him throwing earlier. He is available tonight, most likely for 4 or 5 hitters.
Right, and obviously Julio Urias, somebody that you probably see. Clayton Kershaw, of course, people wonder about that in a postseason game. And in Game 7, could he pitch out of the bullpen? Sounds like the Dodgers would prefer to stay away from him. Talking with Dave Roberts. Christian Pache takes down and away, and it's 1-1.
Again, this is all a moot point if everybody has their best day. But you're asking everybody to have their best day. And the game is played differently. You don't have your lockdown starters that prototypically will just go there until they show they can't go no more. So the bullpens will be a big factor. We knew that coming in, and both bullpens have kind of mirrored each other. They've had a couple good moments, a couple bad moments. They were the 1 and 2 best bullpens in the National League.
Like we said, man, you just can't predict anything in this series. Just when you think you've got it figured out. Pache takes up an in, ball 3. His emergence has been important for the Braves in this series, getting an opportunity with Adam Duvall's injury. Just 21 years old. He had made 4 plate appearances as a big leaguer prior to this series. And he's been in the starting lineup every game since Duvall's injury early on. On a 3-1 pitch, Pache swings through a fastball, and it's 3-2.
Let me tell you something. This young man has gained more confidence, and he has carried himself way better than you could have expected. Looked overmatched, looked like deer in the headlights when he had to come in emergency, and now he knows he's playing every day. He's gotten better and better, drawing some big walks, and of course can play center field.
On a 3-2 pitch, the rookie Pache pops it back. We'll do it again. Comparisons to Andrew Jones. This guy was considered the best defensive prospect in all of baseball coming up.
I'd never want to put that on anybody.
Yeah, it's high praise.
Yeah, that is. Andrew's in a category by himself. This young man could get to that level, and I understand the comp, but offensively it's not a fair comp right now. Defensively, maybe.
Another 3-2. And the offensive part of the game, as you mentioned, that's what's really come along as he's climbed up through the system. But defensively, man, you love having a guy like that roaming center field behind you.
For sure. Look, no disrespect to anybody else who played the game. I don't mind telling you I'm biased. Andrew Jones, best center fielder I have ever seen. And I know Ken Griffey Jr. on the other side can go toe-to-toe, and I would say that, but I didn't get a chance to see him in his heyday.
That misses high, and a walk for Pache. Shows some of that newfound confidence and energy, clapping and looking into his dugout, extending this inning for Acuna.
And that's the big walk. That's the inning, right? You want as clean innings as you can. You can live with a solo home run. Those are quick rallies, and they're over. The base paths and people on create that stress in a postseason that the regular season does not create. And I guarantee you Gonsolin's going to pitch the rest of his career in the regular season 2-out walk, and he won't think one thing about it. But in a Game 7 in a postseason, you're like, oh, okay.
Everything magnified. Back to the top, and Acuna. You talked about it when Acuna came up in the first inning, but just a matter of getting on base. And the wins in this series, he's on 40% of the time, and he scored 5 runs. And the losses, hadn't scored a single run. He's not been on base. And you saw it in that first inning. He walks, he steals second, and he scores on an Ozuna single.
Well, he's definitely the starter of this big machine that's top loaded. I mean, the top 5 in the Braves offense do most of the damage. The Dodgers are more of a 1 through 9 balanced offense.
2-0.
Comparatively to the two teams, they both have offensively are in the top 2 or 3 in a lot of the major categories.
One in the first against May, one here in the second against Gonsolin, who fires 2-0, and Acuna gets under it, sends it Right up through the opening where the roof moved over, and it left its A.J. Pollock waiting for it to come down, and he makes the catch. Well, we've seen the wind be a factor in this series with the roof open, and perhaps it was getting way up into the Texas night. Same with Dansby Swanson's home run ball. A leadoff shot here in the second, and the Braves have a 2-0 lead in Game 7. The division series a little bit quiet over the first few games of this championship series, but he got it going yesterday. He's got a home run here in Game 7. Ian Anderson pitching with a 2-0 lead as Will Smith goes up there, shows bunt, takes ball 1.
I do think like a guy like Dansby Swanson, who's played at the highest level in college and been able to play at that peak, I think this helps. That's kind of a nice kind of resume to have gone through it. A lot of these guys are doing it for the first time.
Will Smith hits a ball down the line to left towards the foul pole. It is just wide of the pole and strike 1.
And if I were on the Dodgers right now, what I'd be saying is, hey boys, we're fine. Let's just give this guy an ERA. He hasn't even experienced an ERA yet because he's been so good. And Ian Anderson, that ball hooks just foul. Oof. We've seen already 4 of those in this series where that section, I don't even know.
That's where you should have bought the tickets.
I guess.
Up there. 1-2. So that great catch was that yesterday?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Now with 2 strikes, I would think Ian Anderson could go to the curveball. This is the only pitch really Will Smith has shown he hasn't adjusted to yet. And he went to it.
Smith took it. Count evens.
But after you bang that fastball for a strike, that's the best time to come back with a curveball that looks like a strike. And that one wasn't. That one didn't ever touch the area that enticed Will Smith.
Leading off this second inning for the Dodgers. On a 2-2 from Anderson. Smith hits the ball the other way this time. Acuna with room for out number 1. Don't forget to download the Fox Sports Samsung 5G View app for all new immersive fan experience, available exclusively on 5G enabled Android devices. Braves lead the Dodgers 2-0 here in Game 7 as Cody Bellinger comes up.
If I'm Cody Bellinger and I saw the first at bat, heavy fastball usage last time.
Bob.
Cody being one that can handle the fastball, especially middle to away.
Back-to-back for fastballs, both missed 2-0. Now the Dodgers and Bellinger hoping for a repeat of 2018 NLCS Game 7 when he hit the game-winning home run, was named MVP, and a similar lead up to that, and that he was hitting just 200 over the course of that series before coming up with a big hit in the big moment.
See that for those sitting at home wondering why that, what can a changeup do? After seeing 2 fastballs, he threw the perfect changeup that Bellinger tried to hit out of the stadium, and it was.
Threw it again.
He has this great feel for it. And if that's going to be, he's showing he doesn't have any nerves. If he can have that touch, then the hitters for the Dodgers are going to have to make better usage of the fastball percentage they see off of this young man.
On a 2-2, Bellinger gets another changeup and spoils this one. (22 years old) out of Rexford, New York. Another 2-2. Bellinger yanks one to right. Acuna angling back. He's got it over the shoulder. 2 up and 2 down.
So here's what you're going to be seeing if you're facing Ian Anderson. Over the top, straight fastball coming at you, different heights. And then he's going to have this changeup coming out of the same slot along with this breaking ball. Watch the different angles that you have to make a decision. The fastball's the bottom pitch, but look at the breaking ball and what it does to your eyes. And the changeup makes this very difficult to recognize that it's not a fastball. And for a great fastball hitting team, that is exactly the recipe of success against the Dodgers. Because if you make mistakes, they're going to embarrass you. That's how good and disciplined this lineup has been over the course of this year.
With 2 gone, it's A.J. Pollock taking ball 1. I love those overlays. Gives you such an appreciation for how hard it is to be a major league hitter.
It is. I mean, the velocity's never been greater, and we see so much more of it that when you think of the style of hitting and the way that these guys are trying to hit, if you can make secondary pitches, if you can just hit 50% of them, you got a chance to dominate and strike out a lot of guys, because the guys can't cover all of that. The homers that we showcase and show all the time with exit velocity over 110, those are mistakes. And so basically, as a hitter, you're just looking for one area and a mistake, and you hope that pitcher makes a few of them.
On a 1-1 pitch, Pollock got a mistake, but put it foul, and it's 1-2.
I don't know how many of these hitters exist anymore, but there used to be a lot more guess hitters. They sit on a pitch, they think of the scenario, and then when they discipline enough to get that pitch, they didn't miss it. Some hitters refrain from doing that because if they see a curveball that they're sitting on, their eyes get too big and their swing gets too big, and it actually works against them. That's why most people will tell you, see the ball, hit the ball, look for a location, and react.
Ian Anderson looking for a 1-2-3 second. He's home with a 1-2. It's in the dirt, and it's 2-2 on Pollock. Anderson spent most of last season in Double-A. Got a little taste of Triple-A at the end of the season, and then opened this year at the alternate site. Didn't make his debut until late August, with piece after piece of their planned rotation either going down with injury or underperformance or opting out. That's crushed on the line to left, base hit for Pollock. 2-out base runner for the Dodgers here in the second.
Missed an opportunity to go to the changeup. He went to the curveball, and Taylor did not miss it. This one just spun, the breaking ball. Didn't really have the downward tilt. And as a team, like I said, the Dodgers don't miss many of those. You just hope they stay in the park, because they led the world in homers.
And they've hit 14 in this championship series. And at the plate here has one of them, Jock Peterson. Came in that huge game 3 when he went 4 for 6. First one from Anderson, he takes ball 1.
It's amazing. Every time I see Jock Peterson, I look at the regular season numbers and I go, ah. And then the postseason comes around. He's one of those guys that this environment might actually create better attention and detail. And he's shown the fact that he's not afraid of velocity. He can hit homers, and you're seeing what he's able to do in the postseason versus the regular season.
But he hit 190 this year. OPS was below league average. But then he gets hot again when October gets here. He's got 8 career postseason home runs. Swings and misses here, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, the environment I'm talking about is that the postseason brings out the best in everybody or the worst. And I think for him, his mindset, don't know him personally, I just think it works for him. And that's why he's worked his way into this roster and postseason. I'm sure the Dodgers are hoping they can get a little bit of that postseason magic, because he didn't see it in the regular season.
And then he hardly played over the last month. Just 11 starts in September. Swats his ball towards left center field. Peeling to the gap. It's down for a base hit. Pollock can run well. He's stopped at third on a very long single for Jock Peterson. First and third with 2 gone.
Good job by the young center fielder. He could easily get lost and try to get that ball in way too firmly and create a second and third. He cut it off and threw it to the right base. And Pollock with good speed. Couldn't take a chance there. They were playing deep. Outfield's way deep, trying to prevent doubles with 2 outs.
Exactly what it's set up to do right there. The stop sign from Dino Ebel, even with the 9-hitter coming up, and Chris Taylor. But Taylor in the lineup for the first time since Friday when he rolled his ankle. Dave Roberts texted him this morning, said, "Are you good?" And he hit him with a couple exclamations and said, "Put me in, Skip." Big spot here in his first at bat, and it's a cross-up that hits off Darno's glove, allowing Peterson to move into scoring position. They're lucky that wasn't worse.
Very lucky. And you usually, again, don't see a cross-up without a runner on second. I'm not so sure it was, the way he reacted. But they're going to make sure, that's for sure.
That's the other catcher, Tyler Flowers, and the pitching coach, Rick Kranitz. Well, so Taylor finds himself with a big opportunity here in the second inning. A guy that's been very good in big spots in his time in a Dodger uniform. An LCS MVP in 2017. And a .342 hitter with runners in scoring position this year. Swings through it, 1-1.
Taylor has a big swing, but he has a lot of power. But that swing, he has redefined and kind of mastered. It's the same swing no matter what pitch. And so he's definitely looking against right-handers to get the ball middle to middle, inside off the plate. That's exactly how he's had success. He lights up the middle of that zone.
Ball. Takes it high, ball 2.
And the outs, to get him out, you've got to command away, and you've got to be able to throw sliders or changeups.
Dodgers trying to score the first postseason run against Ian Anderson. Second and third, 2 gone. A 2-1 pitch. Taylor pops it foul, and it's 2-2.
Well, I'm sure Travis d'Arnaud knows this. You don't want to go to 3-2, and you don't want to bring up Mookie Betts. So you try to figure out what's your best pitch that you want to throw right here, 2-2. There's not an opportunity. You do have another pitch you can throw if you go to 3-2, but the point is you want action right here. There's so much to remember. And you can just feel the heartbeat and the pulse of Ian Anderson trying to make sure. And he has a chart inside his hat that gives the indicators changes with runners on, with outs, innings, whatever the Braves or the Dodgers want to use. They have that chart to remind the pitcher.
Here's what he decides. We'll do it again. And it's a matter of taking that information and executing it in a big spot here. $17 1/3 in the postseason for Ian Anderson. No runs against him. He's not given up a hit with 9 at-bats with runners in scoring position this October. On another 2-2, Taylor takes just upstairs to run the count full. Just missed.
Great pitch, and you could say a great take, because I don't know if Taylor would have been able to do anything with that pitch. Now the question here will be, do they have the guts to throw a 3-2 changeup after throwing that fastball? It's one of his best pitches.
And Taylor struggles against off-speed stuff. The 3-2. He struck him out, pulling the string. He went with a change to get out of the jam and keep Atlanta in front 2-0. That is ball 1 to Freddie Freeman. Off we go here in the third inning with the Braves in front of the Dodgers 2-0. Second inning of work for Tony Gonsolin after Dustin May handled the first inning. Freeman lifts the ball to center field. Bellinger goes back on it, puts it away for out number 1.
Yeah, that's definitely the wrong guy to hit it to. I've seen Bellinger now play the outfield, and I said it when I was doing the series, when we were doing the series in San Diego. You're never going to see a greater catch under the circumstances. Oh. Great athlete. And this ballpark, he could do some damage here and covering this big, spacious outfield.
How nice would that be? I know you had Andrew Jones behind you, but a guy like him in center and then a guy like Mookie Betts in right.
Yeah, it's a luxury to have the, let's face it, outfielders save you bases. I mean,
yeah,
you're only going to lose 1 base in the infield. You could lose 2 bases in the outfield if it's misplayed or not covered.
1-0 on Marcell Ozuna. Drove in the first run of the game with a first inning single. Yeah, he cracks this ball towards the left field corner. Pollock sprinting over and he'll run it down, showing off some range of his own. 2 gone. I'll answer 6 questions about tonight's matchup between the Braves and the Dodgers. You could win $25,000. It's super easy and it's free to play. So download the Fox Bet Super 6 app, and don't forget you can play Fox Bet Super 6 for every World Series game as well. One of these teams against the Tampa Bay Rays in this ballpark. The Rays, boy, they got a scare put into them, getting a 3-0 lead over the Astros and then hanging on in Game 7 as Darno climbs in with 2 away.
I don't think I've ever seen a collection of arms that throw close to 100 miles an hour than what the Rays have.
First pitch swinging. Lazy fly ball to right. Carries pretty well, but not very deep. A 5-pitch inning for Tony Gonsolin. 2-0 in Game 7. To the NLCS presented by Camping World. Game 7 between the Dodgers and the Braves, and it's 2-0 Atlanta as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Second time up for the Dodger order as Mookie Betts takes ball 1 from Ian Anderson.
Mookie Betts looks like to me he's getting ready to go on a tear, and for Dodgers they're hoping that that tear goes at least another 4 games after today. He's tracking pitches well, and I know that he has the power to go along with his speed. But this is a big at bat for obvious reasons for Ian Anderson. Top of the order for the Dodgers.
Crushes this ball in the air, but so maybe got under it as Acuna drifts to his left. He's there, 1 away. 2-0 game here in the 3rd. Up comes Corey Seager. Statcast powered by Google Cloud is 5 home runs in this NLCS and some emotion.
Yeah,
see that.
Yeah, you don't see Corey Seager say much. He's business-like, does his business well. He's setting some records, and potentially more of it.
They're really doing what the Dodgers had hoped and even anticipated that he would do eventually in his big league career. Breaking in as a 20-year-old. Rolls this one to second. Albies flips on to first to get him, and 2 quick outs against the top of the order.
See, those are the stress reliever outs. That's the one you want to have. You know that you came into a game like this and you don't prepare to ever have the lead. And when you have the lead, you can get that uh-oh factor, like, oh, I got a lead, now I got to hold it. And a game like a Game 7, the less stress you have, you can get on a roll. Otherwise, the bullpen's going to get up in the first sign of trouble, and you're going to give your manager the inkling that you may not have it for that given night. So a good start, to say the least, by Ian Anderson without that ton of experience.
Turner with 2 gone. And at least in terms of the pitch count, he was in need of an inning like this. I mean, 2 scoreless innings, but he'd thrown 47 pitches through 2.
Yeah, I've always said, when people ask me what's it like to pitch at Game 7, I say, well, it's going to be the longest game you ever pitch in your life. And they're like, what do you mean by that? Well, the attention to detail is so finite. Like, you're concentrating on every hitter like it's the last hitter you're going to face. That's the only way I knew how to approach it. And you never do that in a regular season game. You would be drained. There's no way to get through 5 of those games. And so what you find yourself doing is grinding on every pitch and hoping that when you get through an inning, you do that again and again And you could find yourself in the 4th inning feeling like it's the 8th, but that's part of what goes into this kind of games.
Anderson looking for his first 1, 2, 3 inning. Leaves that one up. How many did you sleep for, like 3 days after World Series Game 7?
Well, you know what? It's amazing how you get to the end of the season of 162 and then go through all the postseason. You have enough adrenaline to get you by, and then you just have this
crash.
It hits you.
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
Full count. Mentioned it earlier. The 6 Game 7s. Braves history. You started 3 of them all before you turned 26, so you can relate with what he's going through, being a young guy, kind of having to trick yourself into being cool and calm.
Yeah, I think it's part of his DNA and personality, which helps. Talking to Brian Snitker, he said, yeah, this is the way he's been all year, even in between games, you know, when he's sitting on the bench. And that's something you can't measure. We got measurable statistics for everything in this game, but the one thing we don't have is the heartbeat and the mental toughness. We don't have that. We haven't done a that I know of that has a number that can compute to that, and that's where you rely on that particular person's personality to put him in the chance for success.
Turner making him work here. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
But I also know that if you're not thinking about this game as a young kid, then you're doing yourself a disservice. If you don't dream it, if you don't think this is what you want to do, if the moment's too big, you will not be successful. And I'm not saying every player can do that, but you got to want to play in a Game 7 and imagine it in your brain before you actually go out and do it.
Yeah, you'd probably pitch several Game 7s before you actually pitched a real one, right? 2-out walk for Turner. A lot of these guys talking about it in the lead up to today's game. This is what you dream about in the backyard, right? It's Game 7, bottom of the 9th inning, or in your case, Game 7, taking the ball with a trip to the World Series on the line. It's what you fantasize about.
I'm telling you, I did it in Lansing, Michigan, in front of a brick wall and a rubber ball, and I threw 107 games. I did it by myself. I was the announcer, the ground crew, the GM, and the player.
Wow.
And I always tell people I went 99-1. Because 100 no's is unbelievable.
Right, nobody would believe that.
Threw in a fluke loss.
It's a bad fishing story. Muncy looks at a strike. Yeah, you threw in the loss just so you can make sure people believe you.
Exactly.
Well, Muncy struck out his first time. It's one of the 2 for Anderson thus far.
But again, the stress for Ian Anderson has come with 2 outs.
A lot of the Dodger damage in this series with 2 outs.
They've been great. I think something like 25 runs or something that I saw with 2 outs so far in the series. So nothing's going to be crazier than the first inning. 10 of the 11 runs they scored came with 2 outs and blew that game open, of course.
Game 3 on Wednesday. Muncy down the line but foul, and it's 1-2. Yeah, they've scored more runs with 2 outs than any team in any series ever.
That's the whole postseason, right?
Yeah, through the postseason, more than half of the runs coming with 2 out. In fact, quite a bit more than half. Pete Macheska, our producer, the mathematician, says 58%. Coming with 2 out. Turner drew the first walk of the game for the Dodgers to pass the baton to Muncy. He waits on this 1-2 and yanks it down the line, keeps it fair this time. It scoots all the way to the corner, rattles right to Acuna, and Turner, who's battled a hamstring for much of the season, is anchored at third on a 2-out double from Max Muncy.
Well, Acuna plays it great, and they get a lucky bounce. This is a corner that's a triples corner. It can make all kinds of different caroms, but it plays a traditional corner carom right to Acuna, and they exercise the good relay. And again, with 2 outs, the Dodgers aren't able to score on a 2-out hit and now have to rely on getting one more 2-out hit.
Great at bat for Max Muncy.
Well, it was Muncy who set the table for Will Smith's go-ahead home run in Game 5. He passes the baton to him here in the 3rd inning. Tying run in scoring position. First one. Smith goes after it and grounds a base hit into center field. Turner's in to score. Muncy's headed for the plate, and Smith has delivered again. A two-run single ties the game.
Smith has been unbelievable, and he takes an advantage of a fastball and deliberately, and I'm saying deliberately, goes to the right side. That's what you have to do. Take advantage of what they give you. They're giving you that. Not every player can do it. And Smith, you know they talked about this. You know he even created a situation with runners in scoring position. Build me a fastball. I'm going the other way. Good base running, 2 outs, crack of the bat.
They do it again with 2 out. They do it again with the baby-faced catcher Will Smith. And everything clean there. Darno not moving into the base path until the throw took him there. Once he slides in, and we're back at square one in Game 7. So the first runs allowed by Ian Anderson in the postseason. And they're saying, what's wrong with you? Bring out a mound visit. You're giving up a run. Tyler Matzik starts to warm.
Well, 1 for 7 were the Dodgers before 2 outs, and 4 for 6 with 2 outs. Again, paying attention to detail and making the most out of executing the pitch you're wanting to get.
Bellinger. Ball 1.
So here's the problem with the way those runs were scored for Ian Anderson. It seemed like an innocent 2-out walk. In the postseason, nothing's innocent. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, that's a rally. And it certainly turned that way for the Dodgers.
Now Bellinger had 2 balls, no strikes. Bullpen churning with Anderson is 66 pitches. On a 2-0. That's in there for a strike, 2-1. And Anderson got the first 2 outs of this inning on 4 pitches.
Yeah.
And a no big deal walk. So like you said, it all turns into something this time of year. It's 3-1 on Bellinger.
And I'm not saying he let any foot off the gas, but that's why each individual batter is so important. You can't not focus on every pitch, and that walk is what the Dodgers have done so well as a team. So many big walks they've gotten.
On a 3-1, Bellinger takes a changeup for ball 4. Last down to third, no swing. It's the second walk of the inning. 2 on, 2 out in a 2-2 game. Will Smith, you go back to Game 5. The Dodgers down 3-1 in the series, down 2-1 in the game. And in the 6th inning, he launches this home run. And if the Dodgers are able to win this series, maybe the turning point. Tonight he ties Game 7 with a 2-out, 2-run single.
When you're pointing to your dugout, there's been conversation of this is what I'm going to do when I get this opportunity. And
4 consecutive 2-out base runners for the Dodgers, and now it's A.J. Pollock with a chance to give them their first lead of the night.
Loves the first pitch.
Went after it, came up empty. There's another inning of at least 20 pitches for Anderson. Two on, 2 out, and 0-1. Pollock takes the ball. It's 1-1. A.J. Pollock a year ago in his first season with the Dodgers in the postseason went 0 for 13 with 11 strikeouts. And he said he was determined not to let it define his career. Kind of invigorated him and launched him into his offseason of work. He reshaped his body and has had a huge second season for the Dodgers. Third in the league in homers. On this 1-1, Pollock takes it up and in, ball 2.
Well, for Ian Anderson, this is his last hitter, and so he's got to go to his strength. He's got to, if he's going to exit, you exit with your strength. If somebody beats you, they beat you with your best.
Well, when you said that in the second, he went with a changeup, righty on righty to get Taylor. You get out of a jam. Went with it here, lofted to center. Pache will end the inning. But the Dodgers have tied it. What seemed like a relatively harmless walk to Turner opens the door for Will Smith to come through. It's 2-2 after 3 in Game 7. Before, and that means anything can happen. MLB has you covered on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Tied at 2 here in Game 7. Will Smith with a 2-run single. After the Braves have gotten 1 in the first and the second. Ozzie Albies to lead off this 4th against Tony Gonsolin. Squares around, takes ball 1.
That's what Ozzie needs to do a little more of. They play a defense. Now that makes the Dodgers react a little bit. I've seen some of the infielders come in a little bit, and now they're coming in. He just leaves for such an easy way for Ozzie to get on base. Taylor has moved in 10 feet since just the fake opportunity of bunting, the thought of bunting.
1-1.
Ozzie's one of those unique players that has speed but wants to hit for power. And the power really comes from the right side, percentage-wise. And he's got that big looping swing that when he connects, we saw what he did when he started his career off on that mammoth home run rate.
Oh, he's 5'7", about 170, but he is a brick.
Yeah, and it looks like he's got a longer bat, so he's trying to whip that bat through the zone, but he can use his speed so much more with a little different style of hitting and create a bigger weapon. Dynamic player.
Tries to lay off and does. Ball 3. Talk about the fearlessness that he brought the Braves when he came up in 2017. Debuted when he was 20th. All-Star the next year. Led the league in hits last year. Now this season he missed much of the year with a wrist injury, but he was on a tear when he came back from that in September. And he's kept it up here in the postseason. He's leading off the 4th in a 2-2 game. Swinging and missing to run it full.
See, that was a swing 3-1 dedicated to pull. And that was a pitch on the outside. You could see him almost kind of. This pitch is a pitcher's pitch, but see how he's just trying to hook the ball?
That's the perfect pitch to go the other way with.
And that's the difference between how some of the hitters approach launching.
Payoff. Ball 4. A leadoff walk for Albies. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Geico. Happy Geico-ween. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance. Now by Hankook Tire. Never halfway.
So I've always said that when you're pitching and a guy hits a home run off you first time up, you can't let him take away that pitch. And we'll see if Gonsolin's affected by that hanging slider that Swanson was able to hit for a home run. You never want to put a pitch in your back pocket just because somebody did damage off of it.
The Braves shortstop has turned it on. 3 hits yesterday. And the home run to open the 2nd inning against Gonsolin. He takes ball 1. You talked about him being a guy that has benefited from playing in big games, playing in the College World Series at Vanderbilt. He says it actually goes back to his high school basketball days, having the pressure on him as the go-to scorer, playing in some big state tournament games.
Well, I can tell you this. It took him a while to get over the fact of the #1 pick and everybody talking about what they're supposed to look like. He didn't get a chance to play for the team that drafted him. He gets traded, and he's really adjusted about, I'd say, a year and a half, 2 years later. He's really felt comfortable, and everyone's getting a chance to see how talented this young man is. But can you imagine just what that would be like to hey, you're our #1 pick.
See ya.
We're going to trade you.
Good lead for Albies. He runs. Here's the throw from Smith. No chance. Second stolen base of the game for the Braves. First one led to their first run. This one puts a man in scoring position in the 4th.
And a great job by Swanson. Normally you want the hitter to swing to keep the catcher back, but I guarantee you saw that was such a big break. There was no need to get a strike called on him to swing out of the zone. So a straight steal, and we'll see how the Braves choose to play it from this point on, with the shift being where it is and the way they're going to pitch Swanson to pull.
Chance for the Braves to take the lead right back. Gonsolin's 2-0. Outside ball 3. Well, not just being the first overall pick and the pressure that comes with that, and the mind game that comes with getting traded, but how about getting traded to your hometown team and being the quote-unquote savior, and the pressure that comes with that? He grew up in Marietta, about a half an hour from the ballpark, going to games, dreaming of playing for the Braves, and then suddenly finds himself as the guy that's supposed to bring him back. He admitted that took him some time to really embrace. Strike 1.
Not to mention his doppelganger is on the same team.
It's uncanny, man. Every time.
Can't tell them apart.
I know.
Culver's.
Yep. Albies at second as the 3-1 comes home from Gonsolin. And Dansby Swanson.
Ball 4.
Watches ball 4 just off of the corner. Back-to-back walks to open the inning for the Braves.
Well, the reason that won't be the end of the world of a scenario that you can't get out of is the Braves have shown in this almost exact situation. They have the bases loaded. Nobody out against Buehler, although be it a much different pitcher. But too much swing and miss happened after that. Buehler gets out of the jam. The Braves don't put the ball in play. Similar situation here. You know Riley's not going to bunt. So you have a strikeout fly ball type guy. And if you're thinking like Gonsolin can, you got to think strikeout here, ground ball double play, and limit what potentially could be a big inning in the 4th.
Riley, who won game 1 with a 9th inning home run, hadn't done a whole lot since, and was right in the middle of that bases loaded situation against Buehler, where they were unable to push anything across.
And Riley right now, his swing's too big, and so fastballs he can still kind of get to, but the breaking stuff out of the zone, he's got to find a way, if possible, to stay on this ball to center to right center. I don't know if he'll do that because he's looking to pull.
23-year-old on an 0-1. Swings and misses at the splitter, strike 2.
And see, that's great pitch, because if you got a guy that's up there trying to pull and do damage, that pitch is going to be an absolute kryptonite. And the one thing about the Braves is they struck out a ton as a team in the regular season.
Into center field. That'll dunk in for a base hit for Riley. Bellinger's up with it. Here's his throw home. It's up the line, and Riley's come through to put Atlanta back in front. 2 walks and then an RBI single for Austin Riley, and it's 3-2 in the 4th.
Too much of the plate with 2 strikes. Give Riley credit. But watch where this pitch is. Right down the middle. He didn't square it up that well, but he did what he had to do to drive in a run. That's a big mistake by Gonsolin's part. And now I would think the Dodgers bullpen and Trinan going to try to get ready as quick as he can to limit a potential huge inning for the Atlanta Braves. What a job by Riley, but not a good pitch by Gonsolin right there.
So the Braves waste no time getting right back in front after the Dodgers tied in the bottom of the 3rd. Still nobody out, and up comes Nick Markakis.
It's not out of the possibility that Nick could bunt. I know that with a young hitter on deck, it's not the super play, but I'm just saying it's not out of the possibility. And then that Dave Roberts is going to make a change.
It was all just buying time. May goes only 1 inning, gives up a run. Gonsolin goes 2+, gives up at least 2. Dave Roberts looks like he's going to pull the trigger on what is his highest leverage guy at this point, Blake Trinan. With runners at first and second, and nobody out here in the 4th. Austin Riley's put the Braves in front with an RBI single. First and second, nobody out. Blake Trinan comes on, trying to limit the damage here.
Yeah, last time they faced each other, hard cutter in, triple for Markakis. Nobody really hits that cutter of Blake Trinan.
Goes after the first one, strike 1. Well, Trinan's thrown 33 pitches over the last 2 days, and so you're not going to get more than you would think at the most 1 inning, 3 outs right here. You've got 5 innings to cover after that. You've got Arias to give you some bulk and several relievers available, but you're getting into chasing your tail here a little bit if you're the Dodgers trying to cover the rest of this game.
Yeah, that's the, I don't want to call it the nightmare formula, but that's what you try to guard against when you bring this many people in.
That's the risk you run.
Yes, and again, regular season, this would be a regular start. No one would think twice about it. It'd be just the next guy up. The Dodgers had 5 of them and 5 starters. When this series started, conventional wisdom would say if this goes 6 or 7, the Dodgers have the huge upper hand based on the depth. And that depth is going to be put into play really early in this game.
Trinan already the 3rd pitcher they've used. Ahead of Markakis 0-2. Back home on the hands. Popped in foul ground. It'll reach the seats. What were you doing in 2007, John?
2007, I was still playing.
It's the last time Markakis had a sacrifice bunt.
Yeah. Well, most of his career, of course, was in the American League, right? So they're not going to do that over there. I'm just saying he has the bat awareness and the ability to handle the bat if that's what they asked him to do. I don't think they were going to do that because of the rookie on deck and then passing the torch on to him. They're going to try to have 3 cracks at driving in another run.
No doubt about it if there was any at all with the 0-2 count. Walks to Albies and Swanson, and then a base hit from Riley. 3-2 Braves. And an 0-2 coming from Trinan to Markakis.
Oh, no.
In the dirt, runners will both advance.
Well, there's your bunt. Unfortunately for the Dodgers, that's not the way they wanted it. That was a nasty breaking ball that just ate up Smith. He's one of the better at blocking the ball in the dirt. So nasty. Markakis almost went after it. You see the spin, and then it hits his chest protector, but just bounce away. And now, interestingly enough, the Dodgers are going to play it back and concede a run and try to avoid the bigger inning. If this were later in the game, I'm sure the infield would be in. They're going to trust their offense.
It's an offense that led baseball in runs per game this season and has had flashes of exploding in this series, but also flashes of going completely silent. Same can be said for the Braves in this series. What will Game 7 have in store? Winner moves on to the World Series to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Trinan's 1-2. Inside ball 2.
Trinan's trying to hit the outer side, top side of the strike zone. That will be very difficult for Nick Markakis to get to, and he pulled it and missed it in. Almost caught the inside part of the plate. And that bench is looking to erupt if any more runners cross home plate.
On a 2-2 pitch, the veteran Markakis lifts it foul. And it stays at 2-2. Talk about the bench ready to erupt. What about the emotional swings in this series, one way or the other?
Well, and that in the narrative. I mean, if you just listen to the narrative or the clippings, you would think nobody had a chance to do anything, and everyone keeps flipping the script. And how I called it, and I've always said it's the mental gymnastics you have to play in a 7-game series, because there are those kind of swings, and you just can't pay attention to it.
Another 2-2. Shot to third. Turner comes home with it. They've got Swanson hung up. Turner will dive, and now the throw to third. They get him there. They're saying take a look, but as it stands, they get 2 on the base paths.
Yeah, that couldn't have gone any worse for the Atlanta Braves, and it couldn't have gone any better for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Once he was going, I'm shocked he was going on contact. He was not able to stay. Now, Riley should have just kept going immediately when he committed, and at that point it was probably too late. And the Dodgers executed this incredibly well. The awareness of Turner to get up and throw it to third base.
Well, he just barely got Dansby Swanson. I don't even see an out call from James Hoy at home. Or third base umpire Corey Blazer, but it winds up being a moot point. Swanson, whether he was tagged or not, headed for the dugout, but he did get him.
This is similar to Game 5. When the Braves, in a tag-up situation, went ahead 3-0, only for it to get reversed because he didn't tag up. And of course, the Dodgers went on to win that game. That are the kind of things that can happen when the tension in the game is played at such a high level.
Now it's the rookie Pache. Walked his first time in an 0-1 hole here. Well, then he had Albies, and you understand what happened yesterday with him thinking that he had been tagged out, but him rounding first base after the ball popped out of Muncie's mitt. Some base running miscues for Atlanta.
I'm just shocked with second and third, nobody out, how you would go on contact to the third baseman. I can see it to the shortstop.
That's a bouncing ball gently to short. Seager charges and throws and gets him down the inning. The Braves take the lead, but somehow they get just one. It's 3-2, middle 4 in Game 7. Game 7 has been a good one so far. Braves getting single runs in the first and in the second. Dodgers tied it with a 2-out, 2-run single from Will Smith in the third, but the Braves retaking the lead in the fourth on an Austin Riley base hit. Joe Davis, John Smoltz, Ken Rosenthal, Tom Verducci back here in Arlington, Texas, as Atlanta goes into its bullpen. Tyler Matzik comes on to face Jock Peterson, and a rare opportunity for Peterson against a left-handed pitcher.
Well, the only way to forget that last inning if you're the Braves is somehow get 3 outs and get back in to try to hit again, because that top of the frame, even though you checked in and took the lead, you feel like you left so much out there.
1-1. Kind of goes back to that conversation about the narratives and the swings. I mean, coming into this series, not a lot of people gave the Braves a chance, and then they take a 2-0 series lead, and the narrative shifts. Well, the Dodgers win Game 3 big. And while the Braves are up 2-1, it almost felt like the narrative was that the Braves were in trouble. They answer with a blowout win in Game 4, go up 3-1. The Dodgers have evened the series to force this Game 7, and done trying to predict it at this point.
Well, the problem is the probability of a double play in that situation had to be 1%. I mean, you're only thinking about line drive, but anywhere line drive, you should be able to get back because of where the runners were at second and third. So that was the only way that the Dodgers could get from a mess to, oh my gosh, we're out of the inning. And it really is going to be, and the Braves hope it's not, something you go back and ask a question about. because the general rule, second and third, anything up the middle to the shortstop, second baseman, or first baseman, base where they were played, you score. The only play, the third baseman, you could see the third baseman, and that ball was hit firm, so he got caught in no man's land.
Dansby Swanson, not a guy you normally expect a play like that to come from. Done a lot of good things in this game so far, but a key base running mistake that limits what the Braves could do in the top of this inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Jock Peterson, who's only made 10 at-bats against left-handed pitching all season. Dave Roberts not wanting to go to his bench quite yet. That's fouled back, and it stays at 2-2.
And on the flip side, the Dodgers did about as good a job as you can do to create a little bit of chaos. And that's like the Dodgers scoring. If you've got to feel like the dugout knows their chances just went way up based on not being down 2, 3, or 4 runs after that inning.
Another 2-2. Tie for ball 3. Jock Peterson, 130 career home runs, 121 of those against right-handed pitching. Senga his first time facing Matzik, opening the 4th. Ready for the 8th pitch of this at-bat. Three-2. Fly to left. Markakis. We're out number 1 as we look back at that double play in the top of this 4th inning.
Well, you can see it's right in front of you, and right there's no chance that Dansby can score, and he's trying to stay in the rundown now, and they ran it so well that Riley on the backside wouldn't commit. He went back and forth, and at this point he's in big trouble once the tag is made and the awareness of Turner. It was so quick that Trinan now has the opportunity to possibly stay in the game and pitch another inning for the Dodgers if you want, when he was trying to wiggle out of that jam.
Threw 10 pitches, and again, he'd thrown 33 over the last 2 days. So they weren't thinking they were going to get much, but circumstances might have changed with the way this game's going. They may need a little bit more than they thought they were going to get. Taylor with the bases empty and 1 away. 3-2 Atlanta, bottom of the 4th. Strike 1. Just as we start to think they may squeeze a little more out of Trinan. Brusdar Graterol.
He loosens up at 75 miles an hour playing catch.
Yeah.
Guy's got a sick arm.
Taylor muscles one into right center field, a base hit. The 1-out single for Taylor brings up bats. Tonight, every time a batter hits a home run that directly hits the hit it here sign, a fan is going to win an RV from Camping World. For rules and how to enter, campingworld.com/NLCS. 23 home runs in this series. And not a single one of them has hit that.
Well, we had one that was really close yesterday. Less than 5 feet, it looked like.
Record for a series, by the way, is 26 home runs. And to think that one of the things that was talked about coming into this series was, can anybody get it out of this monstrous park?
Yeah, that definitely has blades a lot shorter. Had some wind. The open stadium, open roof helps the ball travel a little bit more.
Mookie Betts representing the go-ahead run, takes ball 1. Taylor hangs on at first. Darno pounces.
Well, the pitcher's dream when you're throwing good and you're throwing good firm fastballs, you want the hitter to hit it to center field. There's been a lot of balls to center field that have come up just short. But any power to right or left field, easily these guys can get them out. You know what they've become accustomed to is going the other way at will. You know, and that's the one thing you can see the shock on their faces when they go the other way. A right-hander to right field really is going to have to smoke it, and the same thing for a left-hander to left field. It's not going to go out of the parks they're accustomed to playing in.
Here's the 1-0. It's high for ball 2. Well, the Dodgers have had their opportunities for the last couple days to do more offensively. They've reached base in 13 consecutive innings, but only managed 5 runs total. And yesterday in the 3-1 win, all 3 came in the first inning. 2-0.
Oh, no.
Ball 3.
Yeah, but if they keep doing that, that's going to be a recipe for disaster for the Braves. That's the one thing, the relentless attack of the Dodgers is that they just don't give you outs, meaning they don't swing recklessly and allow a pitcher who doesn't have his best stuff to get you out.
Coming out of their shoes here if it's too juicy?
Probably not, based on who's on deck.
Oh, right down the middle, and he took it 3-1. Life of a pitcher trying to go through this lineup. And Corey Seager waiting on deck. How many times are you going to face Mookie Betts and maybe fear the guy coming up next more? The way Seager's swinging it. 3-1.
Ball 4.
Ball 4. First and second for Seager.
Well, because the Braves really only had, you could say, 3 starters to come into this, the Dodgers felt that the more they could see the Braves bullpen, the better chances they would have as this series plays on. Well, they're going to see a lot of the Braves bullpen in this game.
Now, because of what Max Fried did yesterday, going 6 2/3, this bullpen is as well rested as you could ever imagine, playing 7 games in 7 days.
Yep.
Seager's grounded out twice tonight. Taylor at second. That's at first. A lot of speed out there as Matzik comes home to Seager with the first one. That is yanked to right on a line right at Acuna for out number 2.
Tell you what, even his outs are loud. You're seeing it so good. That's a guy, if this game's late and he has a chance to beat you, you better walk him. That's how much respect I would have for a guy who's locked in like Corey Seager.
Up to Turner, and the Dodgers again trying to do it with 2 outs like they've done throughout this postseason, like they did last inning to get their 2 runs. It started with a walk from Turner.
Ball.
A little high, ball 1. Justin Turner's another guy who talks about playing in the big stages earlier in his career. It's such a huge part of his success in the Major League postseason. 3 College World Series at Cal State Fullerton. One of the best postseason performers in Dodger history. Another chance here. He's ahead 2-0. Nobody's driven in more runs in postseason history, and always caveat of there are more games these days, but 39 RBIs and 7 trips. Only Duke Snider has hit more home runs in the postseason for the Dodgers. On 2-0, Turner takes ball 3, kicks away, runners advance. Tying run at third, go ahead run into scoring position.
Not for nothing, but Tyler Matzik is not picking up. I mean, they might do this all the time, but he's not picking up the plate in time for me. He's looking at the runner and then starting to home plate. And now he's worked himself into a really tough jam here with Muncy on deck, 3-0 count.
Taylor singled with one out. That's walked. Second and third for Turner, who waits on this 3-0. Green light, comes up empty, strike one.
See, that time he just looked straight at home plate. It's okay to take a check and look at the runner, but then at some point you pick up your spot so that you can deliver the ball to that desired location.
Fourth inning of game 7. 2 on, 2 out, 3-1. Turner swings and misses, 3-2.
Last 2 fastballs, top of the zone by Turner.
Doing it again.
I'd be tempted if I trusted the slider to go right. I know it's easy to say, well, just to pump another fastball. I'd be leery of 3 in a row to Turner. But these are the decisions. You got to be completely confident on what pitch you can make here. 3-2.
Here it comes. Stuck with a fastball, but missed inside to load the bases. Turner's second walk, and it brings up Max Muncy, who has come up in this spot in this series and hit a grand slam as part of that 11-run first inning in game 3. Tonight he's 1 for 2, strikeout, and he's doubled and scored.
He actually on the season had reverse splits, meaning higher average against left-handers than he did right-handers.
Bases loaded, 2 gone, 4th inning. Muncy takes the first one in the dirt. He chases at a lower rate than anybody in the National League. Shane Green warming. It's going to be a relay race to the finish for both these teams in game 7. Either starter pitching into the 4th.
Well, the Dodgers are looking to deliver a back-breaking blow. I mean, you're talking about what just happened 15 minutes ago or less, to now having a chance with 1 hit to take the lead. Just by how many on what that hit does.
On a 1-0. Perfectly placed fastball, 1-1. Max Muncy, 3 trips to the postseason with the Dodgers, has 8 home runs. Includes a walk-off in the World Series and in that 18-inning game in 2018. Got him loaded here in the 4th. The 1-1. Muncy watches ball 2. A hit and 2 walks to load him up for the Dodgers. Can Muncy cash in? Perfect pitch again from Matzik to make it 2-2.
Very close on both ends. Fastball's up top of the zone. Muncy only weak spot where he'll expand the zone. Rarely does he go in or off the plate swinging wildly.
Bases loaded, 4th inning, 2-2, got him swinging, and Matzik gets out of the bases loaded jam. The Braves 3, the Dodgers 2. Back after a word from your local Fox station here in game 7. Out of trouble in the 4th inning to keep the Braves in front by a run. Able to strike out Max Muncy with the bases loaded. Blake Trinan does stay in. Ronald Acuna Jr. looks at ball 1. A tailing fastball. It's 1-0. That's his 11th pitch. His 44th over the last 3 days. This is only the 2nd time that he's pitched 3 consecutive days all year.
Well, the biggest thing to remember in these games, which is so difficult when you're out there, is to not forget about pitching. They're so stuck on every pitch, having the max effort, spin it as hard as you can, throw it as hard as you can, and you can work yourself into some tough situations if you forget that you still have to pitch. And that's why these games are so interesting, because the stress, how important it is, what it means. It's hard to put that aside and have your brain not think all those things and compute when you're out there to have tension. And tension takes you away from your true mechanics and your ability to feel the baseball, feel the bat, throw, everything.
2-2 on Acuna. Trinan comes home, and Acuna lifts a fly ball to right center field that sends Mookie Betts back for the first out of the 5th.
Well, a huge inning with the bases loaded. Started off with a slider, but then the fastball that he threw next, that was huge for him and his psyche. And then he went out there every chance he could. Big pitch right there that changed the at bat. And then, of course, he went right back to that fastball, the glove side, sorry, for Matzik. Nice job. And that inning as a whole could have been graded a D- for the Braves if it would have went. It could have got much worse.
Freddie Freeman lifts this one way up there. It was like Betts didn't see it at first. Now goes back, jumps, and he does it again. Mookie putting his stamp all over the NLCS defensively.
That's how you do it. Watch how he times. This is a taller fence than center field, and he gets way up. He knew the timing. Once he tracked the ball, he knew if he jumped before the fence, too many times you get too close to the fence and the fence knocks you down. We saw that in center field with Pache, and I'll tell you what, between Bellinger and Betts, we have seen some classic game-changing moments.
8-foot wall out there, almost hit his head on the rim.
But it's the way he put himself in position to do that.
Ozuna ball 1. Well, we saw Pache earlier in this series.
He got flat-footed. He got against the wall, and the wall didn't allow him to jump. He could have caught a couple already this season.
There's an art to it.
There is. Tremendous play.
This man here was robbed by Betts yesterday. 2-0 on Ozuna. It's an 8-foot wall out there. I love it. I wish there were more walls right about that height.
Well, you can see some of the dimensions of the wall actually get higher based on where they are. The bullpen wall is smaller in height, but then it jets up a little bit taller there where you see the extreme networks. I would vote for every wall being like 6 feet.
Oh, yeah. And in the hands, little flare to first. Muncy's got it. Mookie Betts, full-time Gold Glove Award winner. Game after game, night after night, play after play for the former MVP. Halfway home in Game 7. How fun is this? Well, there's been some fantastic defense in this series. Some highlight plays, guys climbing the ladder to bring them back. Mookie Betts with the most recent one up over that 8-foot wall to take away what might have been a home run from Freddie Freeman. And it stays 3-2.
Incredible. Nothing like robbing a home run.
You've done it before. There's
so
evidence.
many times. In BP?
Yeah.
Kidding me?
There's a card of you doing it.
Yeah.
Right. Shane Green. So just one inning from Matzik as Green comes on for Smith, Bellinger, and Pollock. Strike one. Started him with an off speed. Will Smith has driven in the 2 Dodger runs in this game, back in the 3rd. Green had yesterday off, but pitched 3 straight days before that, games 3 through 5. That's the 0-1 fly.
And just to remind everybody, to be totally fair, this game would be in L.A. under normal circumstances. We're not playing in normal circumstances, so the crowd and just everything that comes with it is lessened, no doubt. It gives the younger player a little bit better chance to not be so deer in the headlights type. But now that tension's gone. You got a nail-biter game, and it's really going to come down to the execution of every bullpen guy that comes out for each team. And you couldn't pick a scenario where you say who's got the edge. They both were great in the regular season.
Yeah. AJ Minter warms. I think the one advantage the Braves have is that they're probably a little more well rested. 2-1 pitch. Ball 3 on Will Smith.
And I don't think either manager from this point on is going to let one of his guys get in too big of trouble. Now they got to face 3 guys. Shane Green's got to face 3 guys, so that's the minimum.
Top corner, full count. Shane Green, one of the 3 guys the Braves traded for. 3 relievers they traded for prior to the deadline last year. They got Green, they got Melanson, they got Martin to solidify that bullpen. And for much of this season, that was the unit that was key. Starting pitching was a disaster for much of the regular year. A payoff pitch to Will Smith.
Well, I still maintain that whoever has the guts to pitch in the strike zone with their stuff is going to have better success. If you keep trying to get to these counts and create these big stressful innings, even if you're only out there for an inning, it just doesn't bode well for what everyone would want to draw up. You want to get attack with strike ones. Both teams have had a bad percentage of getting first pitch strikes so far in this game. So a lot of that game 7 jitters.
Another payoff. Got him swinging. Smith the first out of the 5th. Ken, Mookie Betts has had a few to choose from as far as a favorite at the wall in this series, huh?
He has, Joe. I asked him before the game which catch was more difficult. Was it this one in game 5 in which he had to come in? Obviously that was a great one. And here's the one yesterday on Ozuna leaping at the wall. But then he just came in after that last catch. Now you see this is a higher part of the wall, so he couldn't go over the wall. But this one, he goes over the wall, and Mookie came in, and that's the one he liked best because he rocked the home run.
Here's Bellinger. I would say recency bias, but I think it's probably my favorite too.
Oh, no doubt, man. You take a run away. That was, by the way, the difficulty was the one that he caught off of Ozuna by far. The most difficult, and because how hard it was hit and where he had to jump in the wall. That one he had time to show off his athleticism and dunk a basketball.
He was a star basketball player in high school. That's a bad ball there, huh?
Ooh. Tremendous movement for Shane Green. That one split the plate.
Green to Bellinger with a 1-1. Ball 2. Saying you don't give it to me at the knees. You didn't give it to me belt high. Where do I got to go?
He loves that backdoor slider against left-handers where he's trying to give the illusion it's a ball the whole time, and a last-minute break catch the outside part of the plate. That one was just a little too low. But the sinker that he throws in the front door sinker where he gets Bellinger to buckle was a strike.
Ball.
3 balls, 1 strike.
See, my point about being aggressive, I mean, you don't ever want anyone to hit a home run off you, but if you're aggressive and you know you got a 1-run lead, it's solo home run's not the end of the world. It's the walk that creates a bigger rally for whatever reason. It's amazing how it works mentally. You just feel like you just gave a guy a base that he didn't earn, even though he earned it by not swinging.
There have been 9 walks in this game. That already ties a Game 7 record. Got to go back to 1909 to find the last Game 7 where there were this many walks. 3 of the 9 have come in to score. On a payoff, Bellinger takes ball 4. There's number 10. History in terms of walks in this Game 7. The 10th for these two teams. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. So both sides have issued 5 walks. It's Bellinger's second. Tying run aboard, and A.J. Pollock coming up here representing the go-ahead run with 1 away in the 5th. Pollock 1 for 2 tonight. He singled in the second, fly to center in the 3rd.
Bellinger has 6 stolen bases on the year. And the right side of the infield, of course, will be open again with the shift.
Green's first one to Pollock. Punch in the ground right to Albee. Shovels to Swanson. Tailor-made double play to finish the 5th. Sponsored by John Deere. Now by Chevrolet, introducing the all-new Chevy Suburban and Tahoe. The MLB app is the one place to get everything your favorite teams chase to the pennant, including video highlights, pitch tracking, and much more. Download the app today for the postseason in your pocket. On to the 6th. Bullpen door opens again, and Bruce Gratterall comes out for the heart of the Atlanta order in a 3-2 game. And yesterday off, Dave Roberts said Gratterall is feeling some soreness. That is strike 1 on Darno.
At 101, his arm must be killing him. No, I get it. You can't throw every day, but this is the easiest 100-mile-an-hour you'll ever see. Strong.
Shatters this bat, and he's got Darno for the first out.
I want you to see something that typically doesn't happen. Watch Green pull his glove back for an easy double play. Can't tell you how many times a pitcher goes to get that ball, forgetting where his defenders are and tipping that ball into a troubled situation. You can see Freddie Freeman going, way to go.
Easy.
Leave it alone.
It just goes against your instinct.
It does, because that used to be, of course, a base hit when you hit it up the middle.
Here's Albies taking ball 1. Albee started that double play. He's got one of the 5 Braves walks in this game and came in to score the go-ahead run on a Riley single in the 4th. On a 1-0 from Gratterall, he watches ball 2.
This is where Albies likes to sell out and attack a fastball in the zone for his homer swing. And he stayed off of it, but you can see what he wants to do. He's got that momentum and leg kick. And you mentioned his size and height, but boy, oh boy, when he gets his pitch, he can crush it.
On 3-0, he takes ball 4. 4-pitch walk and a 1-out base runner for Atlanta. We've got late afternoon NFL action tomorrow. A special edition of the NFL on Fox with the Chiefs and the Bills making up the rescheduled game from Thursday night. 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. Where in the world is Joe Buck?
He'll be doing that game.
Yeah. Dansby Swanson with 1 on and 1 out. He's in Tampa Bay today. Be back here with you. Game 1 of the World Series.
Ball.
Inside and a ball on Swanson. Now Swanson has really started to turn it on as Urias turns it up in the Dodger bullpen. Swanson a home run and a walk today after he went 3 for 4 in Game 6.
Well, if you leave one over the middle third, the inner third of the plate, that is where Swanson does his damage. He loves that pitch. Ooh.
Well, you can get away with it a little more when it's 99, I guess.
Yeah.
Middle. 1-2.
Put away pitch against Swanson usually is a slider.
You hear all about the fastball at Gratterall for good reason. It's 101 miles an hour, but opponents are 2 for 24 against that slider.
Yeah, it's tight and disappears when he's throwing it right. Of course, you're trying to get out in front, get the barrel of the bat to the fastball, and then he throws that.
Got him. I guess it was a slider that was left way up. Got him to chase round number 2.
Well, you can see he's not sharp, but still has the velocity and the ability to get some swings and misses.
Supposed to be a slider.
Yeah, that ball backed up.
Would you believe that Brusdar Gratterall has the lowest strikeout rate in the National League?
Well, part of it has to do with the sinking fastball versus a four-seam fastball.
Sure.
And so what happens is, you know, even at 100, you're able to track the two-seamer a little bit because of the movement. The four-seamer gives more of a hop to it, and you could pitch up in the zone.
Here's Riley.
And so that's why a lot of people typically will tell you, or a lot of people in the analytical world, if it doesn't have a certain number or spin rate to it, abandon it and go with something else. But the style of hitting of where everyone's trying to barrel up balls and square them up,
Albie's walked with 1 out. Got a good lead over there at first. He has a stolen base tonight. Not going here. Is a swing and a miss at 100 from Riley, and it's 0-2.
but the bottom line of no matter where you are with what you're trying to throw, if you hit your spots, it doesn't matter. It's just we've taught arms to live in the zone with the max effort and let that get a guy out.
Only 22 years old. He was originally part of the Mookie Betts deal, going from the Minnesota Twins to the Boston Red Sox, but the Red Sox didn't like the medicals, didn't like some things they saw in the physical, so they pulled out of the deal. And the Dodgers said, well, we'll take him, and traded Kenta Maeda to the Twins to get him. That is taken for strike 3. And back-to-back Ks to finish off the 6th for the 22-year-old out of Venezuela. His Dodgers trail by a run in Game 7. They've got 8, 9, and 1 coming up. That includes Mookie Betts. Back in a moment. Series on Fox is sponsored by Fox Sports 5G Views, sponsored by or powered by Samsung Galaxy. You can download the all-new app for an interactive fan experience that you can control from around the diamond in real time. Available only on 5G-enabled Android devices. To the bottom of the 6th we go here in Game 7 with the Braves in front 3-2. And the man that started Game 5 and was fantastic, A.J. Minter. How about 7 Ks over 3 shutout innings in his first career start?
You know, it was incredible. You just wonder how much he has in the tank for this game. The terminology we always used to use in our game was he bowed his neck, meaning he went as far and as long as he could, and he did an incredible job. And now he's looking to get an inning closer.
A pinch hitter. Sorry, John, pinch hitter here. Kike Hernandez for Jock Peterson. He takes ball 1.
Just a quick note on that ball that Freddie Freeman hit that Mookie Betts caught. I was intrigued. I know we're not in L.A., but would that have been out of L.A. Dodger Stadium? And the answer we got back was no.
Check swing, foul, 1-1.
That, according to the metrics of how far that ball would have went and velocity and launch angle and all those things that you try to figure out.
StatCast doing it for you. Hernandez in this series 3 for 11. Does have a home run. He's another guy who's had some big postseason moments. 7 career postseason homers on a 1-1. Takes high, ball 2. It's been a few days for Minter, but he threw 42 pitches. That was his longest outing since his final game at Texas A&M when he tore his UCL. Underwent Tommy John surgery. What a season he's having for the Braves. Big spot here. Finds the bottom of the zone with a fastball, and it's 2-2.
And having done this, people don't understand how when you go 3 innings and you haven't done that in a long time, how much it does empty the tank. Now the 2 days off will help, and hopefully for the Braves, the 1 inning that they are asking him to, I would guess, would be enough.
Brings it 2-2.
But I spent my entire life, 14 years as a starter, trying to go 8 and 9. Then when I went to the closer's role, and in my 4th year of not starting, had to pitch in a playoff game the final 3 innings, I was gassed. And you wouldn't think there's no way that would be. You just can't when you're used to a role of your sprints. Relievers are in sprints. They come in, they do their job, they hope to do it multiple times during the week. That's what was so impressive about him throwing 3 innings the other night.
Now another 2-2. Another foul ball, but also I've heard you talk about in the biggest games in the postseason, Game 7s, you just find a way even when you don't feel good, like you find this second tank to get into.
But what you don't want to do, and we've seen it in some epic battles, whether it's the Chapman battle in Cleveland, you don't want to force velocity. When you're tired, the tendency sometimes is to force it. It's not natural, and it doesn't go where you want it to go. So if you can stay away from force velocity, you're okay.
Hernandez spoils another. Next pitch will be the 8th.
And that is not easily done because you just know that you need a little extra. And you try to hump up on it a little bit, and the next thing you know, it flattens out. And you make a mistake. Or you throw it in a location where you never intended it to go.
For those 42 pitches on Friday, and 7 pitches to the first man he faces here in Game 7. Another 2-2. Hernandez hits one in the air, left center field. This game is tied. On the 8th pitch, his 8th career postseason home run, and it's 3-3 in the 6th inning of Game 7.
And that's the case in point right there. It just was jumping out of his hand 2 days ago, blowing it by the hitters. Kike with an incredible at bat, saw a lot of pitches, and he smoked this baseball.
A pinch hit home run from Kike Hernandez. 3-3 in the 6th inning. Chris Taylor now takes high ball one. Well, this right now is giving you everything you hope you get from a Game 7, which is a gift in itself, but tied up into the late innings, winner to the World Series. Ball on a strike.
And already some big time swings in the game. You know, so many games go by and you forget about certain plays early and you say, ah, that won't matter, and they come back and matter big. The base running, the catch.
Hang it! Ball.
Ball two. From the standpoint of getting in and out of trouble, eventually it catches up to you. But to come off the bench and hit a pinch hit home run to tie the game, pretty incredible.
We're talking about it with a guy he pinch hit for, Jack Peterson. Some guys are just wired for October. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Taylor. Hernandez had that 3 home run game at Wrigley Field in the clinching game against the Cubs a few years back. Send the Dodgers to their first World Series since 1988. Still looking to win their first World Series since 1988. Trying to come from behind in the series and trying to come from behind in Game 7 to get there.
If you're the Dodgers, you feel like you're the best team, and you have that right to feel that way because you played all season like that. But there's so much pressure on them, and they've been able to rebound and come back. And they have basically played an elimination game for 3 straight games.
On a payoff, Taylor yanks one down the line. That's a fair ball into the corner. Taylor follows the home run with a double, and the go-ahead run is in scoring position with nobody out.
Well, he got one to middle in, and he knew it. Absolutely knew it. And the Dodgers are starting to feel a little more comfortable. Man on second, nobody out, and again, Minter. I'll say it for him. He ain't going to say it, but the gas tank, you could understand, is a little bit low, and he has and will try to get through this next hitter.
By the way, just the second pinch hit home run in Game 7 history. Troy O'Leary for the Cubs and a loss to the Marlins in the 0-3 NLCS. Now it's Betts. A chance to give the Dodgers their first lead of the night. First one from Minter is very high, ball 1. And here is an instance where the 3-batter minimum is playing a role, because you know Brian Snitker sees the same thing that you do. He just doesn't have it. But he has to face Betts to fulfill that.
He does have to face Betts, and the reason I felt that he was a little bit, the way that he's thrown his fastball up and out of the zone tells me all I needed to know, and he's trying to pitch with his secondary pitches.
1-1. Dodgers have not led in this Game 7. That slips one in the air to center field. Pache moving to his left, settles under it, makes the catch. Taylor advancing to third. And the go-ahead run is 90 feet away with 1 gone in the 6th.
Great at bat by Betts. Stayed on the ball the entire time. Had the plan to get the ball in the right side, if nothing else, in the air. Moves him over to third for their hottest hitter. Now the Braves have to bring the infield in, which makes their hottest hitter even more deadly if he squares anything up.
Well, he's fulfilled the 3-batter minimum, and Chris Martin is warming. But lefty on lefty, Brian Snitker elects to leave him in to face Seager. Infield pulled in. Hottest hitter on the Dodgers stands in on the first pitch. He watches a perfectly placed fastball, 0-1.
Best fastball of the night. He stayed on it and stayed through it. Seager's going to take that 100 out of 100 times, knowing there's nothing he can do with that pitch. Let the umpire decide.
Seager takes ball 1.
That one he overthrew.
The sign may come true if the Dodgers win this series. NLCS, he's got 5 home runs. He's driven in 11. We can drive in 12. The Dodgers would lead for the first time tonight. On a 1-1 pitch. It's a ground ball to second. Albies comes home. He's out at the plate. Darno puts the tag down on Taylor, and it stays tied at 3.
That big hop right there could have been trouble. And Darno goes over and applies the tag. And that'll be it for Minter.
Dodgers have tied it, but the go-ahead run cut down at home. It is 3-3 in the 6th inning of Game 7.
Confused on. The catcher sets up like a first baseman. The throw takes him into the base path. And if you've committed to slide head first, you have no chance against the catcher. It's going to take somebody to recognize that you can still run over the catcher in these big moments and have a chance. That way, you have no chance. Great job by Darno. Great job by Albies. And the throw takes you into the path of the runner, which allows you to block the plate because everyone says, I thought you can't block the plate anymore. Well, in that case, you can, and somebody's going to have to run in and change the flow of that play.
Chris Martin is on for Justin Turner, and he pours in strike 1. Martin yesterday, John, threw a career-high 30 pitches, and so Brian Snitker banking on the fact that there are 2 outs here. He'll be able to get the job done quickly and not have to face 3 hitters.
Perfect scenario to come in, and like you said, unless it's a prolonged inning, Snitker could change after he gets the last out. Too many times, you know, in the past before the rule came into play, you could throw 6 pitchers in an inning and not get an out. They wanted the flow to be a little bit better so that when you start a clean inning, you've got to face at least 3 batters. And it's the same for everybody, so nobody has a disadvantage. So anyone who complains about the rule, it's really too bad. You just got to have the guys do your job and then have some strategy of when you're prepared to bring in the next guy so that you don't get caught in a scenario where he's left out there to give up a bunch of runs.
It's another thing on these managers' plates. He said right off at the top, they're the only guys not having fun tonight. There goes Seager on an 0-2 that Turner fouls off.
Great time to go. A guy who can control the strike zone and the bat in Turner. And I'm sure 0-2, the tendency of a pitcher is to forget about the guy at first.
Right. Seager's only stolen 2 bases in the last 2 years.
Well, in the first 6 innings, I can't remember too many. I've been blessed to do a bunch of these games now as a broadcaster and playing a bunch of these games. It's about as much action as you're going to see in 6 innings with the twists and turns being what they are.
What do we got coming over the final 3+? 0-2 coming. Turner fouls it off, stays at 0-2. He's walked twice tonight.
And as we showed you that play, that ball hit the mound and actually slowed it down for a hop to Albies. But Albies needed to throw the ball in the right area, right? You got to still make a good throw, and then Darno did the rest.
Slowed it down, but as you pointed out, kind of a funny hop too.
Yeah.
A good play just to get it cleanly. And a perfect strike home to cut down the go-ahead run. Another 0-2 pitch to Turner. And a tie game in the 6th. Spins away, ball 1.
Here's the hop. He hits the ball on the ground, takes a couple bounces, and then watch right there, up in the air, which allows Albies to gather and make the best throw he can.
Kind of wound up looking to bounce off of one of those pitchbacks, the screens that throw the ball off of.
And you might ask yourself, what are the Dodgers? The Dodgers had the contact playing on, which means any ball hit, you're going to go and force the action late here in the bottom of the 6th. You might say, well, you got Turner up. You know, why would you risk that? But I think with all things in consideration of reaction time, when you got the play on, as soon as the ball hits, you have to go.
There he goes on a 1-2. Turner knifes a fly ball down the right field line. Acuna was deep, coming on, still coming to make the catch and end the inning. But a pinch hit leadoff home run from Kike Hernandez to tie the game at 3. Game 7 is a good one to the 7th in Texas. Welcome back to the NLCS, presented by Camping World. Tied at 3 to the 7th inning in Game 7. Back into the bullpen they go. Julio Urias, who is the winning pitcher in Game 3 on Wednesday, just 1 run over 5 innings and really pitched very well. And it comes back here in the 7th and a tie game. Pinch hitter for the Braves, it's Johan Camargo. Swings and misses, strike 1.
Camargo has a big swing, as you just saw right there, but Urias has a big arm. I mean, this could play out where you could have Urias finish the game if the Dodgers wanted him to. What a great arm this young man has.
Markakis' day is finished. Camargo pinch hitting out of the 8th spot. So you will likely see Camargo stay in the game and play 3rd, and then Riley move from 3rd to left.
Which weakens the defense a little bit for the Braves, just as a note of what Riley has been at 3rd. He's become a much better outfielder, but way better 3rd baseman.
Camargo chases here quickly, 0-2.
Urias has a power changeup. You saw right there. Fastball, good breaking ball. And I think he's one of those guys meant for this type of game. I mean, he is, as a young player, been through a lot. 2 major surgeries and injuries to overcome. And just another byproduct of the Dodgers. Great arms, develop, and they're ready when they come up. Like, that's the biggest thing people don't talk about. They're ready. A lot of guys come up in the big leagues, have the stuff, but they're not ready. And Dodgers do a good job of preparing to be a big leaguer.
Here's 1-2. Camargo digs it out into shallow left. Pollock will come on and put it away for the first out of the 7th. Well, the World Series begins Tuesday. It's the Tampa Bay Rays out of the American League to take on the winner of Game 7 tonight, all starting Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Here's the full schedule for the World Series. It will go back to the traditional 2-on, 1-off. And you won't have a travel day, but you will have a day off to reset the pitching staff after 5 games in 5 days in the Division Series, 7 games in 7 days here in the Championship Series. Tied up, the 9-hitter, Christian Pache shows bunt, takes ball 1. Pache walked and grounded out.
Sit in the open. Sometimes these games provide the opportunity for an unsung hero, and right now each club is looking for what that guy is. Your stars are your stars.
Flipped in foul ground, first base side. Muncy to the dugout with room. 2 up and 2 down in the 7th. For the Braves in a 3-3 game here in the 7th with the Dodgers. Top of the order with Acuna coming up.
Would not throw a first pitch fastball here.
As aggressive of a hitter as you're going to find, and 5 home runs on the first pitch of the at bat this year alone. Here it comes. Fastball to the top of the zone.
Gutsy and a good pitch.
Yeah. Gutsy is right. Well, you've seen Acuna hit a ball a mile many times. Urias gets strike 1 on him. Home with the next one.
Well, what's interesting, though, he is a much different hitter off of left-handers than he is right-handers. Not at much success off the fastball average-wise. He actually does better with the curveball and the changeup off the left-handed pitchers as opposed to right-handers.
2-1. Acuna 4 of his last 30. How many times have you seen a guy in the postseason go through a rough stretch and then find it when his team needs him the most? They get that from Acuna in a tie game here in the 7th. And a 2-1 from Urias. He pops it up. Julio Urias, who the Dodgers plan to lean on as this game moves later and later. Goes 1, 2, 3 in the 7th. We stretch in game 7, locked at 3.
And
Mookie putting a stamp all over the NLCS.
Mookie.
He does it again.
How do you like that?
Well, Mookie and the Dodgers are tied with the Braves at 3 to the bottom of the 7th inning here in game 7. Winner to the World Series to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Here to be Max Muncy to lead it off. Then Smith, then Bellinger. And in somewhat of a surprise, coming off a career-high 30 pitches 24 hours ago, Chris Martin is back out there. They do have Will Smith warming. First pitch of the 7th, way outside, ball 1.
And now it's a battle of the easy outs. Urias came in and got easy outs. No stress. And now the Braves' turn to try and get their offense back up with as little stress in this inning as possible here in the bottom of the 7th.
Generous corner 1-1. As we mentioned, when Camargo pinch hit for Markakis, the move is Camargo to third, Riley out to left. Position he'd never played prior to last season. Necessitated by Josh Donaldson doing his thing at third when Riley came up. On the 1-1 pitch, Muncy grounds a ball foul. It's 1-2, and we check in with Tom Verducci.
Yeah, John, you mentioned quick outs. Those have been tough to come by for Atlanta pitchers. Entering this inning, they had thrown already 140 pitches, and the 2 biggest at-bats for LA. Justin Turner, 2 outs, bases empty, an 8-pitch walk, fouled off 2 pitches with 2 strikes, and of course Kike Hernandez, another 8-pitch at bat with 3 foul balls, resulting in a home run.
1-2 on Muncy. Here it comes. Ball 2.
It's hard. You tell yourself you want to make the perfect pitch every time. You don't really need the perfect pitch. You just want to execute early, and these teams can and will make early outs if you hit your spot. If you don't,
we'll do the 2-2 again. Muncy's 0 for 2 tonight with a pair of strikeouts, or beg your pardon, 1 for 3, a pair of strikeouts and a double. Came in to score on Will Smith's 2-run single back in the 3rd. Dodgers tied it in the 6th, and a home run from Hernandez. Smith waits on deck. Max Muncy leading off the 7th. Swings and misses. Strike 3, 1 gone. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by T-Mobile, your ticket to the game with America's largest 5G network. And by Camping World, making RVing fun and easy since 1966. Could we be headed for a walk-off home run? Only been 2 in Game 7 history. Aaron Boone, the most recent, for the Yankees over the Red Sox. Bill Mazeroski, the other. As Will Smith comes up with 1 gone and takes 1 down the middle, strike 1.
It's been a crazy postseason for Will Smith. He started out hitting the ball hard, getting nothing to show for it, going 0 for 11, and then dropping in a historic record-setting 5 hits against the Padres. Started out a little slow in this postseason, and then hits that big home run.
Behind 0-2.
And then the big base hit that drove in the 2 to tie the game. So the timing's been pretty good.
For the 25-year-old in his 2nd big league season. Hit 15 home runs in 54 games last year in his debut. You know, he's even better here in his 2nd year. Waits on an 0-2 from Martin. Back-to-back strikeouts for Martin. 2 gone in the 7th. And now a quick word from Bacardi.
Break time means it's time for Bacardi Spiced Rum and Cola. Introducing Bacardi Spiced Rum.
Pretty awesome stuff what Chris Martin is doing, not too far from where he grew up. Arlington High School. Pitching in Game 7 of the NLCS in Arlington. Bases empty, 2 out. He faces Bellinger in a 3-3 game. Delivers, strike 1. 2 walks for Bellinger. Also hit it on the screws, lined out to right.
Ball.
It's a ball. It's 1-1.
Most of everybody this year has been beating Bellinger up and in, trying to crowd him. If he gets his hands extended and his arms extended, he can hit it a long way. A couple times he's hit it to center field, shaking his head, can't believe it didn't leave. But strong down, not as good up.
On this 1-1, Bellinger watches it miss away. Ball 2. Chris Martin trying to give him an inning plus. Is 2-1. Backdoor to catch the corner, strike 2.
That was a backdoor cutter of the ages right there. I mean, he was coming off his fastball away, stayed on the cutter there, and got a call. Probably just a tick off the plate, but too close. And it definitely was off the plate.
Now a 2-2. Slap that one foul to stay alive. We'll do it again.
So I'm surprised they're going up and away. It's probably easier for Martin to get the ball there the way his ball moves than to try and jam him up and in and throw the ball tight in his hands, where Bellinger just hasn't shown the ability to stay off that pitch. But the strength of Martin and the call that Darno has been staying away to this point.
And I know that's the hole, but that takes some guts to come up and in on a slugger like this. Another 2-2 pitch. Left it over the plate and got away with it.
But see, that's not really over the plate to Bellinger, because he dives in. He's so close to the plate. You have room in there. I mean, this is in the strike zone, but because see how he tries to get that long swing to the ball, it's just harder for him. But he gets out over the plate, can touch him about as good as anybody.
Reigning MVP, who's not had kind of season he envisioned.
One swing changes all of that.
No question about it. A 3-3 game in the 7th. The 2-2 is swatted down the line. Foul again. Bellinger, who was the Rookie of the Year in 2017, was the MVP last season. Been a great regular season player, but has struggled in the postseason throughout his career. Eighth pitch has been the magic one tonight. This time he hits the ball to deep right field. Cody Bellinger has done it, and the Dodgers lead in Game 7. And it again comes on the 8th pitch of the at-bat.
Tell you what, they didn't get it in. That ball is over the middle of the plate, and he can handle that pitch. Getting it in, inside, jamming him. But credit Cody Bellinger for not missing the pitch he had to get. Putting his team ahead. Wow.
Second home run tonight, 16th of the series for Dave Roberts' Dodgers. Martin to Pollock, strike one. Bellinger was the MVP of the NLCS in 2018, even though the average was low, similar to how it is this season, on the strength of a Game 7 home run. He's homered in Game 7 again, this one giving the Dodgers their first lead of the night. Another 2 on Pollock.
Well, the amazing thing about that hole at bat is they stayed hard with him with fastballs. Didn't go to the curveball, but the bottom line is just never got the ball inside and up. And he fouled off enough pitches away, to his credit, to spoil and turn it into a long at bat.
Martin's 0-2.
Another 2 out, but probably the most important 2-out hit of the series so far. A run that gives them the lead in a game that they were in trouble early and could have been down big. And now the wheels are turning for Dave. And how he wants to finish this game. With who?
Could it be Urias the rest of the way? 0-2. Got him swinging to end the 7th. Now the postseason, you know that any pitch can be the one. Any swing can be the one that they'll talk about forever. Is this one for Cody Bellinger, giving the Dodgers their first lead in Game 7. A Hernandez home run tied it in the 6th. A Bellinger home run gives the Dodgers the lead in the 7th. Here we go to the 8th. It's Freddie Freeman taking ball 1 from Julio Urias. As 2, 3, and 4 come up for Atlanta. The Braves are trailing for the first time in Game 7. Freeman. Cracks one back foul. It's 1-1. And with the National League MVP, Freddie Freeman, and he has kept up that performance here into the postseason. Now he's 0 for 2 tonight, and in this championship series, when he drives in a run, Atlanta is 3-0. When he doesn't, they're 0-3. On a 1-1. Freeman lifts it down the line to left towards the corner. Long way to go. Fading to the seats in foul 1 and 2.
So there might have been just a little bit too much celebration. Watch right here. I never understand these, but that one jacked up his shoulder. You won't see it right there, but you'll see it as he comes down. He won't do the second one, and he turns around, and then he heads down and winces. And it's his right shoulder. Hopefully nothing is major with that, but man, oh man, always makes me nervous in those celebrations.
Fouled off. It stays a 1-2, and then when he went out there to play outfield to open this inning, he was shouting over to his teammates, kind of rolling his shoulder around. Yeah,
I'm telling you, it popped out. Is what he's saying. Came out of joint.
And as a left-handed hitter, that's your lead front shoulder.
I'm all about excitement. I'm all about high fives, but I've never understood the elbow, whatever you want to call it. It exposes so much, and it's so violent at times. But hopefully it's not a big deal for him, because right now the big deal is he hit that home run that could end up being, as you mentioned, one you talk about for a long time.
Freddie Freeman in the heart of the Braves lineup, trying to have something to say about that. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Second inning of work for Julio Urias. Fouled off, will do it again. And the Dodger bullpen, and what looked like it may be a long, difficult night, has really put things together. There's a walk from Albies in the 6th. That is it since the 4th. Another 1-2. Freeman takes it down and away, and the count evens up.
It's a great take by Freddie Freeman. You know he's grinding. Best chance for the Braves to score is right here in this inning.
With Ozuna and Darno coming up. 2, 3, and 4. 2-2. What a take, and he's worked it full.
Urias has got such easy arm action. You see him finish on that leg, and the ball was definitely outside.
On a 3-2, Freeman swats a line drive to center. Bellinger is there for the first out of the 8th. Well, if you just joined us, I'm sorry, because you've missed a lot. You've missed a really fun game with some huge moments. The Dodgers in front 4-3. In a game the Braves led 2-0. Dodgers tied it with a 2-run single from Will Smith in the 3rd. Braves retook the lead. Dodgers tied it in the 6th and took their first lead in the 7th on this Bellinger home run.
Epic at bat. Epic results. A little too much maybe celebrating, but not in a bad way. I'm talking about from an injury potential way.
Ozuna takes ball 1. He injured that shoulder last year playing first base on a dive, and it popped in and out of the socket, and that's why he stopped playing much first base. He didn't want to risk a similar play. Freddie Freeman, it seemed like, was limping after that first out, and it looks like he's headed down the tunnel. 2-0 on Ozuna.
Ozuna has been kind of the unsung hero for the Braves. Freddie Freeman's been Mr. Consistent, been there all year, but Marcell Ozuna signed a 1-year deal, and wow, did he have a monster year in the shortened season.
2-0. 2-1. Led the league in homers, led the league in RBIs. I mean, what a pickup on a 1-year deal for a guy who had some average seasons in St. Louis, a little bit underwhelming. But he's put together best year of his career. He had flashes earlier on in his career in Miami of what he could do.
But he's healthy and had an influence amongst the players that Brian Snitker said he's loved having him around.
Takes very high here. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Urias has a unique opportunity here that I can't remember this many wins potentially in a short series.
It's 3-0 in 3 games in this postseason. It's down the line, foul, and the count goes full. Guy's had, seems like, a changing role throughout his career, going from being the can't-miss prospect to fighting through injuries to back and forth between the bullpen and the rotation. Pitching in some big innings here, whatever the Dodgers have asked from him. The mound visit from Smith. And now a quick word from Google Cloud. Julio Urias is 24 years old. This is his 16th postseason appearance. First pitch in October when he was 20. The youngest pitcher ever to win a postseason game. His 3-2 is punched at first, and Muncy's got it. 2 gone. Dodgers 4, Braves 3, 2 gone in the 8th, and up comes the cleanup man, Travis d'Arnaud. d'Arnaud is 0 for 3 tonight. Numbers in the NLCS not good, but it's been a monster season for another great offseason signing for the Braves. Pops the first pitch back, strike 1. d'Arnaud's 31, and his story's been told several times by now, but been quite a ride to get to this point. I mean, former first-round draft pick, traded a couple of times for 2 Cy Young Award winners. Had a great future, the Mets thought, but he dealt with injuries, and eventually they released him last season. Spent a week with the Dodgers, then to the Rays, now to the Braves. Behind 0-2 here with 2 gone in the 8th inning of Game 7.
Both these teams undefeated coming in to face each other. It's only right that we're in this situation with 3 wins apiece.
So many twists and turns and shifts and the narrative and the momentum. 0-2 pitch. Big bouncer right side. Muncy charges. He's got it. He tags him out. 6 up, 6 down for Julio Urias to the bottom of the 8th in Game 7. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Verizon. The network more people rely on gives you more. And by Indeed, upload your resume today. Authentic caps, tees, jerseys, hoodies, and more. Get all your postseason gear and cheer on your team at home with the official source, MLBshop.com. Dodgers ahead of the Braves 4-3. Bottom of the 8th inning of Game 7 with Mark Melancon, Atlanta's closer, who last pitched on Tuesday in Game 2, coming in trying to keep it a 1-run game. Kike Hernandez with a pinch hit home run to tie the game back in the 6th.
And a huge, again, momentum switch.
Chases here, 1 ball, 1 strike. Looking ahead to the 9th inning for the Braves. Albies, Swanson, and Riley due up. And there is nobody warming in that Dodger bullpen. Kenley Jansen is kind of looming, but Urias has been fantastic. 6 up, 6 down. 2 balls, 1 strike. spinning fly ball to Pache in center. Hernandez, the first out of the 8th. Our player resume is sponsored by Indeed. Cody Bellinger, the go-ahead home run in the 7th inning. Second career Game 7 home run. Hit one against Yoli Chacin in 2018 in the National League Championship Series. And if they can make this thing hold up, he will be the Game 7 hero.
He'll be the Game 7 hero, and he'll pass the MVP award to his teammate Corey Seager in all likelihood.
Yeah, hard to look past 5 homers and 11 RBIs.
Yeah, and a good rally by Urias if he's able to get 3 wins, though. Rare to do.
Ball 1 on Taylor. Well, the Dodgers trying to do something they've only done once in their long and storied history, and that is win 3 consecutive elimination games to win a series. Only time they've done that, it was a 5-game series, 1981 in the NLDS. They trailed Houston 2-0. Came back to win that series 3-2. Taylor hits a fly ball to center field. This is routine for Pache. 2 up and 2 down. The 81 team, comeback kids, came back from down 2-0 in the division series, down 2-1 in the NLCS against Montreal, and then in the World Series against the Yankees, erased a 2-0 deficit to win the title. Back to the top with 2 gone for Betts. Eighth consecutive division title, looking for a 3rd trip to the World Series in 4 years. And the Dodgers feeling like this is the group to write a different ending. First one to Betts. Drops in, strike 1. A team that seemed to have it all. 43-17 during the regular season. By 6 games, the best record in the league. Other than 2. Then they find themselves behind in this series by 2 games twice. 2-0 and 3-1. Forcing Game 7. They're now leading Game 7 in the 8th.
But I'm telling you, it was their defense that turned this series around. We're going to talk about all the home runs and all the offense, but their defense and a little kind of a lapse of running on the Braves on 2 separate occasions allowed them to be in this series. You think about down 3-1, 2-0, and a 3rd run crossing the plate, and who knows what happens the rest of that inning. They could have scored more runs with 2 outs. That stops that, goes 2-0. Dodgers come back and win. Same thing here. A catch that you could argue one of the best catches, robbing a home run, that changed the momentum. It's their defense that gets underrated because you talk about their offense and their pitching.
Well, first in runs, first in ERA, but first in a lot of defensive measurements too. And that has shown up in Game 7 and throughout this series. The Braves, meanwhile, if they're unable to rally in the 9th inning, it'll be hard for them to look past some of the mistakes on the bases over these last few games. A 2-2. That lifts the ball to right center field towards the gap. Pache, a long way to go, won't get there. And that is a 2-out double for Mookie Betts. Second hit of the game for Betts, turned it into a double.
He turned it into a double, and right about here he turns on the juices, but Pache made a great throw. Wouldn't have got him, but that ball kept tailing away from the Braves center fielder, and thought better of it for diving and picks it up on a hop. And
that's a safer celebration than the elbow to elbow.
It was a safer one.
Yeah. Brian Snitker going to make a change. Out to at least talk to Mark Melancon. I'm not sure anybody was warming. So
no, this is a
discussion.
This is a discussion about how he feels about pitching to Corey Seager, or should they just go ahead and put him on and face Turner?
Good. All right, that's 2.
Well, you said it earlier in the game. If it's you late in the game, you're putting him on.
Putting him on. But now this is a veteran pitcher, and they had the discussion to say, what would you like to do, and can you pitch around him? The worst thing you can say to a pitcher is pitch around him. Just walk him then.
Seager trying to give the Dodgers some insurance. 4-3 in the 8th. Swings and misses. Good first one from Melancon.
So what that conversation was, we're going to establish a game plan. Here's how we're going to attack him, and we're not going to look back. If that was a younger pitcher on the mound, there would have been no decision. They would have walked him. But it allows the veteran pitcher, with the ability for him to spin the baseball, to see early on if they can get Corey Seager to chase. He did. And let the count determine what they do from that point on.
On an 0-1, Seager got one over the plate, swatted it to short. Swanson up with it. Inning over. Fasten those seat belts. To the 9th inning we go in Game 7. Albies, Swanson, and Riley coming up. It is 4-3 Los Angeles. To the 9th inning of the NLCS presented by Camping World. The Dodgers 4, the Braves 3. Last chance for Atlanta with Julio Urias out there for a 3rd inning of work. He's retired all 6 that he's faced. He gets Albies, Swanson, and Riley in the 9th. Downstairs, ball 1.
If you're the Atlanta Braves, you are happy that Albies is from the right side. I think his power is so much better from the right side. He just doesn't face as many left-handers. Not that he's just trying to hit a homer. He's trying to get on base as well.
Ball.
Changeup misses. It's 1-1. Couple of defensive changes for the Dodgers. Or 2-0, beg your pardon. Kike Hernandez is at second. Chris Taylor moves from second to left, replacing A.J. Pollock. And so the Dodgers lose the DH with Hernandez coming into the game. The 7th spot in the order is now the pitcher's spot. Swing and a miss, and it's 2-1. Albies 0 for 1. He struck out. He's also walked twice.
Now, unlike yesterday, one swing ties the game, so you don't mind the Braves being somewhat aggressive. What I mean by that is last night they were down 2, and in 2 pitches, they were down 2 going to the 9th. 2 pitches, Kenley Jansen had 2 outs.
Yeah, a struggling reliever.
Yeah, he had 2 outs. So you don't mind Albies there 2-0, letting it rip.
Jansen getting ready just in case. Dodgers would love to see Urias finish this thing. Here he comes with a 2-2. Ground ball to short for Corey Seager. 1 gone in the 9th. 7 up, 7 down for Julio Urias. May gave up 1 in the 1st. Gonsolin was charged with 2 in the 2nd. Treinen, Graterol, and Urias have combined to give up just 1 base runner over 5 1/3 scoreless innings.
It has worked out so far for the Braves, but Urias has really been their best pitcher. He's dominated the Braves from the left side, and now has a chance to finish out. Given the opportunity to take that lead like they did, now he's in line to win and finish the game without having anyone else to come in.
But now coming up is a guy you've talked about loving the big moment. Dansby Swanson homered back in the second. Tying run at the plate, 9th inning. First pitch, strike one. Ball one. The Braves looking for their first trip to the World Series since '99. And they were right there. They had a 2-0 lead. They had a 3-1 lead in the series. In danger of dropping 3 consecutive games. 2 balls, 1 strike on Swanson.
I know that Urias pitches out of the stretch, but he hasn't had anybody on base, and that would be something the Braves are trying to do just to see if there's any difference in the way he's throwing with a runner on, because he hasn't shown that so far.
Seager again. 2 up, 2 down in the 9th inning. And up comes Austin Riley, who won Game 1 with a 9th inning home run back on Monday. Can he keep the Braves alive here in Game 7? Towering fly ball. The Dodgers come from behind in the series. They come from behind in Game 7, and they win the National League pennant. For the 3rd time in 4 years, the Dodgers are going to the World Series.
Yeah.
88 times a team has fallen behind 3-1 in a series. This is only the 14th time that a team has come back to win that 7-game series. First time since the Cubs did it in the World Series in 2016.
Yeah, well, everybody knew about the depth, and that's why they were so favored. They certainly didn't get off to the start they thought they would in this best-of-7 with no days off. Think about that. That allowed the Dodgers to be able to use their depth in whatever way they decided. The Braves played almost a perfect series, and they got up 3-1, but couldn't get that one game to fall. And give the Dodgers credit. They had all the pressure on them, and they're going on with a chance for some redemption.
There was a group text that started going around the team after the blowout loss in Game 4 that put them in a 3-1 hole. The message of it was, look, we got a chance to do something special, something that not many teams over the course of this wonderful sports history have been able to do, but they do it. They come from behind in Game 5. They win Game 6. And again in Game 7, they find themselves in a hole. They trailed 2-0 early. They tied it. The Braves retook the lead. They tied it again. And then Cody Bellinger's 7th-inning home run proves to be the difference. We'll hand out the hardware coming up in Arlington after this break.
can't say enough about these guys. Every one of them out here, 1/3, 28, just the way they fought all year, the way they came together, the energy in our clubhouse here down 3-1 couldn't have given us more assurances of the talent that this group has and they coming out on the field. I'd like to thank all of our fans who are here tonight.
Is it going to be like for you to be matched up against the Tampa Bay Rays?
Obviously, I have close personal relationships with my closest friends, but my focus is what we're doing here. We came back from 3-1. All of our focus is on tonight, and now we're focused on 4 more wins.
You know it's not easy for a team to play with such high expectations that this team has had. How proud of you for the way that your team came from behind to win the National League pennant?
I don't want to get too emotional, but I am, but I'm just so proud of these guys. It's been a crazy year. Guys away from their families, social injustices, our families stuck together, these guys are stuck together. We have a lot of work to do, but for the Dodger fans that are here, the ones that aren't here, we love you, we're thinking about you, and this year
Total team effort. We can only give it one MVP award. The MVP of the 2020 National League Championship Series. What was the difference for you to play at this level throughout the series?
It wasn't me, man. That was this team. This is love. I mean, it was this whole team. Defensively, pitching, game calling, planning, everything. We grinded all the way through the series. This wasn't easy, man. We got to go top.
Corey, you are a large group of players who have been here doing this run. 4 years. I know you know the job isn't finished yet. Tell me what will take to finish it this year.
Same thing. We got to come out with the best we can every night.